BuzzPOP hari ini kami bakal membedah musim kedua Demon Slayer episod ke-16. Para panelis kita malam ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV. Kaki anime kita Shazli American. What's up bro? How you doing man?
Hello.
Ayo.
Doing well.
Serta kaki buku iaitu Jamal Raslan. Hey dude.
So, Inosuke bro, MVP. Okay, tak ada, dia tak MVP lah. Dia tak MVP.
King of the Mountains tu.
The King of the Mountains bro. Beastmaster.
Yeah. Beastmaster. Serta kaki manga kita Ariff. What's up Ariff?
Hai, kongsi bacai.
Kongsi bacai.
Oh, dah paling sopan. Itu sopan siap.
Kongsi.
Dia kena sopan.
Kau hebat coy.
Kejap lagi.
Kongsi bacai, hongpao nak lai.
Semua tak layak kasih angpau.
Semua tak layak. Semua nak minta angpau, bukan memberi angpau ya. So
aku tak pergi open house langsung. Aku sudah diri.
Alright guys, jadi kita bakal memulakan perbincangan malam ini dengan reaksi satu ayat. Alright, so reaksi satu ayat aku bagi episod Demon Slayer minggu lepas adalah tak mati-mati lagi. I mean, judul episod minggu lepas adalah Once We've Defeated the Upper Rank Demons, which pada akulah is a fake out title pasal GYUTARO dan DAKI masih tak mati-mati lagi by the end of the episode. Jadi apakah reaksi satu ayat anda kepada episod Demon Slayer minggu ini? Kita mulakan dengan Ariff, silakan.
Dia macam agak poetik sikit lah dia punya title tu. Kira macam bila tengok oh rupa-rupanya it's a wish once we defeated all kan. So macam nice lah, nice twist lah sebab aku pun tak berapa ingat sangat the manga sequence. I mean I knew what was gonna happen but I macam mungkin dia akan selesaikan benda ni within this episode. Macam no.
Aku ingatkan Ariff nak buat joke tentang daki yang susah nak dicuci tapi tak.
Tak cukup tangan hari ni.
Okey, seterusnya.
Dia belum panas lagi.
Tak panas lagi. Kaki anime Shazli, silakan.
Mana masa mice weh. Tikus semua tak ada weh. This episode tak ada tikus.
Itu je yang kau pentingkan. Itu je.
Tak,
tikus semua dah masuk Neon Dynasty Kamigawa bro.
Oh yeah.
Sebab Ariff dia dah booking daki, so aku kena jaga abang-abang tikus lah.
boleh. Jalan.
tapi itulah I think the best part is when to me the best is when they start combining strategies and nanti kita akan talk further lah about the fact that Syaz, api dengan air tu tak wujud Syaz. Sangat sedih tapi it's like this is the ultimate proof lah that it does not exist lah.
Yes. Kita akan bincangkan lagi dalam segmen kita seterusnya. Dan reaksi satu ayat bagi kaki buku Jamal, silakan.
Aku satisfied sebab the animation that I wanted to see on some of the action sequences jadi macam contoh yang GYUTARO punya tangan pusing-pusing tu. So kat dalam manga pages dia just bulat-bulat je. So you cannot see anything. And then dalam anime the execution of the scene where Tanjiro flashed in, combine the two breathing styles to flash in and save Hinatsuru yang nama bini UZUI tu. Dalam manga is just one big panel. Just dia tukar macam tu je. So this one dia siap ada gelap sekejap.
Movement lagi.
Ada movement tu lagi tu dulu. And then nampak GYUTARO macam apa jadi kat tangan aku? Tadi ada tangan. So generally itu je lah I was looking forward to this episode and it was quite nice to see. So kepada korang dua yang kita orang yang dah sembang this season, duk tanya apa jadi kat UZUI? So the last two panels of the ending, finally kau nampak apa jadi kat dia.
Kesian.
I mean you gotta hand it to him lah sebab he lasted this long kan.
Ya, dia tak cukup tangan like, nak handle tiga wise.
Like jujur cakap kau Ariff, I don't think he saw it coming.
Apa dia?
I don't think he saw it coming.
I mean We're gonna stop there. It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah,
Long day.
Tak
Let's
boleh
just
habiskan
stop
lagi,
there
tak boleh habiskan
lah.
lagi.
Alright, kita ada satu komen untuk segmen ini daripada Dan The Gamers ya, yang mengatakan, reaksi satu ayat aku, bila nak tunjuk origin Daki dan Gyutaro? Lama aku tunggu ni. Tapi action
Lagi
fight
2 episod.
best.
Lagi 2 episod.
Okay. Nantikan.
Episod lepas ni finishing move. Patut episod lepas tu baru dia flashback dan dia bagi kisah tragedi Oktober Daki dan Gyutaro.
I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita bakal membincangkan 3 plot menarik daripada episod Demon Slayer minggu lepas. Alright, jadi segmen pertama kita adalah tentang Tengen UZUI, Flamboyant Origin, di mana kita menerokai kisah silam Sound Hashira, Tengen UZUI, serta ketiga-tiga isterinya, Hinatsuru, Makio dan Suma. So kita ada satu quote daripada UZUI and aku nak dengar Abang VA Ariff kita untuk melakonkan watak UZUI ni. Silakan.
Aduh. Sekejap, buka skrip. If my siblings were still alive, maybe there would be a day we all have a drink. Sorry, but I don't want to die yet. Someday we'll all have a drink together in the afterlife. I'm going to live flamboyantly for the sake of my siblings.
Nice.
Okay,
Alright, jadi kita ada satu soalan dalam segmen ini untuk ketiga-tiga panelis. Apakah pendapat anda tentang this subplot tangent away from the ongoing battle at the beginning of this episode, yang menunjukkan Tengen Uzui's reverence kepada his deceased siblings serta hubungan rapatnya dengan ketiga-tiga isterinya. Also, Uzui resolves to live flamboyantly kerana adik-beradiknya mati katak mengikuti the shinobi way of life. So, apakah pendapat kau? Silakan Syaz.
Aku tak nampak dia punya nak kata macam mana. We are looking at the end of dia punya character development as far as dia dengan adik-beradik dia is concerned. Bayangkan macam kalau kita tengok cerita macam boxing apa ke, macam Rocky ke and all this kan. You don't see all the character growth kat Rocky, tiba-tiba you tengok the final fight dia menang, yeah aku menang. We happy lah kan. Or rather macam you reach that critical point but you do not see the build up to it. Why the interactions matter to him, how did they die? Is it they don't die heroically ke ataupun mati katak ke on suicide missions and so on. So this is more like a summary. Macam kita masa kat SPM dulu kan, sila rumuskan this entire cerita and everything. Tapi macam you miss a lot of the points along the way. So it's not as endearing as macam cerita Tanjiro. Every time you ada flashback or anything, you saw the tragedy tau. You see it happen, the effect, how he had to deal with it. So macam Uzui ni macam like, oh, diorang dah mati, kesian diorang, everything. So the impact is not as strong compared to Tanjiro lah. I mean, I have to respect the fact that the Triggers and Uzui kan, they really pay their respects and everything. But I faham kenapa they put this scene, because it's like biasanya kalau you letak scene macam ni, ada orang akan mati, akan ada some critical injury lah. I really thought she was going to die tau. Siapa yang actor tu Hinatsuru kan? Hinatsuru ya. I really thought they, like when they show this one, aku dah mati dah, seorang bini tinggal dua kan. Lepas tu tak mati. Oh okay, the fact that Hinatsuru tak mati, so it kinda
blindsided you a bit lah.
Itu kan macam like biasanya kalau ada flashback macam ni ada orang akan kena, tapi like tak kena, so macam like, so what is the point of this scene? It might be better kalau kita letak in another timing lah kot.
So kau rasa scene ni tak cukup flamboyant lah?
Yes.
Tak cukup flamboyant.
Sebab it was just a guy showing off dia ada 3 bini, lepas tu boleh makan-makan bersama. Macam like
I feel it's character building bro. The character building. Dia nak tunjuk yang Tengen ni is sad that his other 7 brothers and sisters died. And because of that, he chose to live flamboyantly, not like them, which led to deaths. Tu pada
Betul,
pendapat
I setuju. I agree the scene was needed, but I tak tahulah, it could have been arranged differently.
I kind
Because-
of agree with Shaz.
Silakan Jamal.
Oh tak, aku just nak cakap I kind of agree with Shaz, especially after reading the manga. Go on lah Shaz, aku nak cakap aku agree dengan kau je. Tu je.
Oh tak, sebenarnya aku dah reach my point dah. I'm just aku faham kenapa this scene was put at that point of time, but the fact that Hinasuru did not suffer a critical injury,
Yes.
so dia tak ada macam like there was no payoff. Dia like nah, this is the heartfelt moment, and then tak macam like
Yeah.
there was no
Actually,
critical moment after that.
When later Hinasuru cakap kalau kita mati pun tak berjumpa pun tak apa. Yang penting kita kena promise
Kan?
to live this life once we have defeated the upper demon.
That was perfect tau. Kau je lah, dia blinded by the poison ke, kan, ataupun dia kaki kena potong ke and what not, or even just kena pop, she's knocked out totally. I mean, then you feel like
kaki kena potong tu Inosuke.
dia kaki kena potong
Tak,
susah nak percaya balik people.
Aku nak play long ke apa ke tidak ni Jamal macam
Obvious gila lah kaki dia kena potong kan.
Eh,
Tapi macam
anime
for a moment there.
Anime watcher kena call.
So Jamal, pada pendapat kau sebagai seorang manga reader, is this the last time we're going to hear the mention of Tengen Uzui's family? Ataupun we're going to see more?
Where you have a scene, a moment dedicated to it, yes. Tapi in terms of him petik in a conversation with somebody else atau a very quick reference to, that is not the case lah. Yeah. So
dia punya scene ni, I think for me it's less character building or character development, it's more character feeling. Kita tahu dah character dia, so this is just filling up the empty slots about this character yang kita tak tahu lagi lah. Rasanya I think to answer apa soalan tu Jamal tadi, it will not be the last time, but it won't be the last, it will be the last important time lah. Dia macam rasanya development untuk
Uzui dah habis
Uzui dah habis dah. Cerita dia dah
habis.
That's the beauty of this manga lah. So you don't have to macam kalau One Piece atau Naruto ke, you kena fikir lama-lama, you kena hold on character ni, so macam no. So so Uzi kira
And apa pendapat korang tentang the fact that this integral point in his life led to him being flamboyant from that point onwards?
I think it's fair. I think it's interesting. For Uzui fans, I'm sure they demand more to be written of why he decided. Because kalau kau nak live flamboyantly, you could have lived flamboyantly as a business owner ke, orang yang run a joint dekat the entertainment district ke, atau you can be so many things. Tapi kenapa kau decide to be Hashira kan? So of course, because his family was a shinobi, he probably still felt that I can serve people better by taking my best abilities, which is as a shinobi, to do something meaningful lah. And aku rasa mungkin benda tu is because pada dia rasa family dia died in vain, not a meaningless death, but died in vain because for all the meaning in their shinobi punya life atau lifestyle atau principles, they did not get far, atau the country did not change, atau the family perished and everything related to the shinobi culture hancur. So he felt that he needed to take a break from that sebab semua adik-beradik dia dah mati, and everyone who within his nucleus family yang follow the shinobi lifestyle did not go any further. So dia rasa macam shinobi is not the way to go lah. Berapa banyak orang lagi nak mati dalam family aku to prove to me that kan before ni. So dia kata okay, I will make the best use of my skills, and I will do the exact opposite of what everyone in my family has done that led to their deaths. So for him, it's living flamboyantly lah kot, I suppose.
And also kena consider on that points about I think the time setting of this is early 1900s kan? Kalau tengok dia punya era.
Ada orang pakai suit, ada orang pakai topi.
Yes. So it's towards modernization as we know it now lah. So even a samurai punya lifestyle dan ninja shinobi lifestyle pun dah mula waning and macam dah hilang makna, hilang kepentingan in the modern world. So I think even in Uzui's perspective, daripada aku nak cling to this old tradition yang hanya fikirkan apa ni tradition, apa ni nak kematian apa semua. How about I want to save humans for the future. I think that is where he is juga. He nak preserve the peace for the future.
And I think
Even
maybe
life
that's
might
why
be
maybe that's why they put the scene yang dia pay respects to his family at the kubur lah kot. We don't need to see because this is not to set up his character. This is not to flesh out his character. This is just to reaffirm that how UZUI ended up at this point of the story, which is fighting for his life to some degree versus GYUTARO, has a lot to do with this lah. His decision to move away. So kalau dia flashback cerita macam story dia, then kalau you do that for UZUI, then imagine what you have to do for the other Hashiras. Imagine what you have to do for the other for Tanjiro, for Inosuke, for Zenitsu. Imagine what you have to do for the other demons. So dia jadi panjang. So they feel there is no need for us to know who and how his family died. We just needed to know that his family died. He left the shinobi way, and he makes it an annual thing to go and celebrate at the kubur, and then to eat flamboyantly with everyone. Tu je lah. So this comes at the moment. I think this comes at the right time because it's not meant for us to flesh out the character. It's meant to basically, aside from filling up the space, I think it's basically macam Syah cakap ni. Biasanya kalau ada benda-benda macam ni jadi, lepas tu confirm akan ada sacrifice kan. Yeah, true. Cuma kat sini the sacrifice is not that much. It's just him losing a hand. Well, let's just start with him losing a hand lah, because he lose many other things after that. So point dia adalah pada aku now while talking about this is that family member dia yang lain-lain mungkin had a similar moment in their life, in their moments before their deaths, but they end up dying. But for UZUI, this moment came and he did not end up dying, but he still had to pay because his decision was to fight kan. So it is that lah. Tu je lah kot.
Aku suka ada one comment by kategori The Great, tak silap. Dia mention Rengoku. Kalau Nick boleh flash out yang tu.
Sekejap ya. Silakan.
Okay. So dia I'm not sure kategori punya actual meaning ni lah, but the way I look at it, perbezaan antara Rengoku dengan UZUI ni, Rengoku is somebody who really focus on dia punya fighting ability and how to defend in general. Whereas macam UZUI ni, dia nak kata macam ni kalau dia lawan dengan Rengoku one to one, I think it will be either a tie or be a very close match where Rengoku might win. But as far as UZUI is concerned, the moment involvekan the family, dia punya own personal family ni, he will be able to go higher than Rengoku. Dia is a common trope lah, di mana the one who focus like 100% only on martial art and fighting and everything can be beaten by somebody who has a reason to fight, especially when the reason to fight betul-betul depan dia tau. So dalam case ni I would say kalau Rengoku was still alive and he came to fight at this point of time, he would lose 100% to UZUI, because now the fight antara UZUI dengan the demons ni is very personal to him at that point of time. So this particular scene memang dia nak emphasizekan on that lah, that macam mana pun it's not about dia punya money, it's not about dia punya name. Ultimately kan, the scene that mattered the most to UZUI, that the animators and the mangaka want to show us, is ultimately is family dia je, the ones yang dah pass and the one yang still alive. So when his current family dah lah injured, dah kena tangkap kan, and then I mean dia orang dah release everything, but someone literally almost kena bunuh kot depan mata dia. So his fighting got significantly harder lah, which is quite scary when you consider that he lost a hand. So UZUI at 150% pun lose a hand, macam mana dia nak menang ni kan? Aku dah takut dah ni.
Nah bro,
it's a very interesting story trope lah.
And I think kalau nak compare between Rengoku and Tengen UZUI kan, you need to consider yang Tengen is the oldest of the Hashira. I mean tengok badan pun tahulah memang paling tua, like
Oh,
not
ya ke?
close pun. Even
Was he the
tapi
oldest?
when I say
Is he even older than the blind one?
I believe so. Tapi old pun bila dia sembang old, I would assume macam 28. Then I'm looking at the bio ni. It's actually tak. Actually, yeah, the blind one is the oldest. Okay. My bad.
Nice.
However, in terms of character, kalau tengok Rengoku and also Tengen is more jaded lah because of his lifestyle. Even his priorities pun kalau tengok, even his spirit pun it's not pure. It's not as pure as Rengoku. Rengoku is very optimistic, fiery, blazing, and all of his motivation comes from the family, the mother. Cakap dia kena protect. This is macam some noblesse oblige or something. Yang orang kuat kena defend orang yang lemah. So that is his perspective. Uzui punya perspective is more on aku nak hidup to the fullest and in the meantime selamatkan orang. So I think that's dia punya motivation lain sikit lah. That's why dia untuk selamatkan orang tu ada, semua Hashira ada, but we rasa more from Rengoku.
Nice. Alright, jadi kita ada 4 komen menarik yang aku akan bacakan sekarang. Pertama daripada Syabil yang bertanya, pada pendapat panelis, siapakah yang akan mati?
Akhirnya semua akan mati.
Saya tak ada pendapat sebab pendapat saya tak penting kepada mangaka. Mangaka dah decide siapa mati dan siapa hidup. So, saya rasa kecewa
Salah tu
dengan
Jamal. Allah tetap kecewa.
Actually, jawapan ni adalah kita semua akan mati satu hari nanti. So
Syabil, kalau nak bagi spoilers, bagi terang bagi jawapan hamba kat soalan kau. Aku rasa mungkin kau tanya soalan ni dengan earnest lah. Nak bagi jawapan yang jawapan ni untuk demon eventually semua demon kecuali Muzan akan mati. Muzan kena tengok ending. Tetapi in terms of Hashira, aku boleh bagi tahu Uzui tak mati, tetapi selepas Uzui ni akan ada 1, 2, at least 2 akan mati, and then another 2 akan injured gila babi, like gila babi.
Nice.
And then ada 1 yang bukan Hashira tapi equally penting, dan kalau tak ada dia 1 demon tak mati dan 3 Hashira mati. So ada non-Hashira yang berjaya menyelamatkan 3 Hashira. Dan disebabkan dia punya sacrifice tu, demon tu mati dan hanya 1 Hashira mati. That is how tense gila babi the ending, the final arc is. So yes.
Aku suka soalan Syabil ni because it highlights nak kata macam mana Demon Slayer ni banyak budak tengok tau. From what I understand lah, younger kids read and watch it tau. So macam like the acceptance of character death in anime is higher compared to zaman-zaman dulu. Dulu kalau karakter mati macam like
Optimus Prime mati, babi.
Itulah. Kita macam menangis gila kan. Sampai sekarang ada orang kalau tanya what's the most traumatic moment in your life?
Optimus Prime mati.
Optimus Prime mati. Like,
kan? 1986 ya.
Because
and to some others apa? Some others apa? Superman pula kan? Some others Superman pula.
Yes.
So just menyimpang sikit, Optimus Prime tu up to that point dalam movie tu, every single episode ada karakter pecah lah, putus tangan macam tu, dia pasang balik tau. But every time Optimus Prime show up, settle, beres, So at that point of time, all the characters macam matilah, dada pecah ni, tak apa, Optimus Prime will come. Waktu dia datang kan, and then he's like, okay, it's done. Lepas tu member tu pula mati, like what happened? So dalam case ni, dalam this cerita Demon Slayer ni, when the parents allow their kids to watch this show, means that there is dia punya storylines and everything, it respects the death of the character tau. Dia tak mati bodoh-bodoh. Kalau macam you tengok certain cerita and whatnot kan, dia just mati boom, dia punya character just die for no reason. Kalau you nak tengok Gundam Thunderbolt, what's that the name of the series? Gundam Thunderbolt, karakter dia mati bodoh-bodoh. You tak kenal pun karakter dia. They show the concept of war is hell tau. Budak-budak umur 14-15 tahun kan, we are treated to like dalam siri Mecha, budak-budak adalah hero. You know, the super teenagers, boleh power mecha 20 meters tall and everything. But at that point, yes, they were still older teenagers like 18, 19 who were the main pilots. Tapi budak-budak 14, 15 tahun mati bodoh je. Kita akan bawa suit bodoh ni ada satu cannon je. Just one cannon. Lepas tu sekali beam cannon cuts through 30-40 budak-budak mati macam tu. Feel like,
Wow.
what happened? So this series treats the character deaths very well, and not just the dia punya heroes when they die macam Goku, but even when the demons die, you akan macam like, ini semua salah Muzan tu. Every single person that dies, ultimately semua puncanya kat Muzan. Even the demons pun, kita tak tengok the rest of the story yet lah, but they all have a tragic story and they were manipulated by Muzan tau. So death dalam cerita ni is very meaningful, and that's something that is very good lah.
And aku nak sambung point Syaz. Aku suka point tu. Aku dengan Syaz banyak simbang about many things. One of them is Gundam, and Syaz always brings up this point when we talking about Gundam. The very first Gundam film, Syaz, in the 70s kan? Late
1979, before we were born.
79, before, okay. So Gundam punya first two films tu yang sets off the giant mecha into the modern era lah. Sebab everything post Gundam adalah bipedal mecha, meaning mecha yang ada pilot, yang macam and then lepas tu Grandizer semua keluar. So at that time in the first two Gundam punya movies, the storyline is already terrorism, is already nationalism, terrorism yang based on nationalism, meaning lepas tu planet Earth lawan dengan colony, space colony. Sebab apa? Yang colony nak balik planet Earth, yang planet Earth elitis tak nak bagi diorang masuk balik. Tetapi space colony ada Gundamanium alloy, dia boleh buat stuff, lepas tu diorang lawan. So pilot-pilot ni semua budak-budak, dan dalam the two films orang mati kiri kanan. Spaceship, lepas tu kena tembak mati, askar ni mati sebelum dia mati dia ada flashback anak dia, ada flashback isteri dia. Shit like that was happening in 79 for kids. So Shaz's point is very true, sebab aku rasa maybe in Japanese pop culture, for them anime is part of Japanese pop culture, and it is a way for them to not just for them to express life around them, for them to tell stories about life around them in a way that sometimes cannot be done via live action. Sampai sekarang pun dia punya live action tak best. So but they can tell stories macam contoh Grave of the Fireflies. Macam mana kau nak tulis cerita tu in live action? Nausicaa of the Wind, at least half of the Ghibli punya collections. How are you going to tell those stories in live action? Tak payah cerita 3D animation. You can't. So point Syaz tu penting, because this is the reason why anime is a booming business, why manga is a booming business, is because dia punya storytelling kat Jepun. Kau nak tulis novel, tulislah novel. Kau nak tulis novela, tulis novela. Kau nak tulis cerpen, tulis cerpen. Kau nak manga, kau nak anime, go ahead. Kau nak guna haiku, kau nak guna puisi, go ahead. Asalkan you tell stories and you channel Japanese culture, you represent Japan, modern or traditional, majority or minority in some way, you go ahead. So benda ni go on.
And also the punya for better or for worse, the censorship thing in Japan is I won't say looser, but it's definitely different than Western punya media lah. And ours also, ours tak saya cakap lah kan. But in to compare dengan Western, memang especially in terms of death lah, I think because in Japanese culture and also by extension Eastern culture, death is not really a taboo compared to Western, and they are more willing to share and be more appreciative of death. Kalau tengok macam old cartoons like 80s, 90s, you don't really see death. You see explosion, but it's like a hand wave kind of kata death. And also yang mati pun, it's very monstrous. Doesn't really show that humans or humanoids are dying.
Mati ya. Yang mati semua orang yang monster, orang jahat lah. Semua yang
and it's not visual. So it always portrays death as this ugly thing. Sebab tu hero jarang mati. Hero paling pun koma, paling pun hilang, throw under the bus atau masuk bus pergi tempat lain. So itu yang nice about manga lah, especially they don't really treat you like
As
a
kids.
child.
Child, yeah. This
Tapi I
is
think someone mentioned juga lah, parents in Japan pun dah mula start being very particular about this thing lah. But I think that's just a generation thing lah.
yeah. And the Ariff punya point about dying too is important because in the West, the reason why they don't show dying is they do not want to expose the young to the ugly side of death. So they let the adults do the talking and explain death whenever the kids are of more mature age. Because they kata kenapa kecil-kecil nak tengok death, so they need to be more naive or more hopeful. So you make them see hope by stopping them from seeing death. In Japanese manga, pop culture specifically, because we're talking about this, we tell them there is hope in spite of death. Nampak tak? Very two different approaches. And because of that, there are a lot of people, practically the whole world, yang akan ada one anime or two yang diorang suka dan diorang ni. Because this anime tak sorok. Kalau cerita ni macam ni, dia cerita tu macam tu. Kalau cerita ni macam ni, dia cerita ni macam ni. Dia tak sorok-sorok. Dia akan exaggerate bila benda tu fantasy. Fantasy dia exaggerate lah. But even in fantasy, macam kita tengok Demon Slayer, this is pretty much fantasy kan, demons and all that shit. It's still real stuff. And I guess I'm a bit aku sedikit opinionated tentang benda ni is because aku nampak kat feed aku ada orang buat quote, ada orang buat Facebook post, orang-orang yang tengok anime don't deserve to live atau don't deserve good things or something like that. Lepas tu ada member dia reply, yang tengok Ghibli juga ke? Ghibli is an exception sebab bla 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 bla. So ni adalah typical case orang yang duduk pagar sebelah, lepas tu dia nak komen pagar belah sana macam mana, tapi sebab pagar belah sana ada pokok atau ada pasu bunga yang cantik, dia buat exception untuk pokok dan pasu bunga tu saja. So aku rasa macam BBNU tolak aside, aku rasa macam it's an industry. For all your opinions, for all the books you write, for everything that you write cannot command this much fandom ataupun cannot command this much money from the world yang buat jobs, buat occupations, buat subcultures, buat communities and all that. So macam relax je aku kata orang yang tengok anime ni macam ni. Okay, fine. Dan tak payah pergi tengok Disney lah. Macam so whatever.
Ni ada masalah connection ni. So just to sambung this point kan. An interesting what was the term bila two character deaths. Welcome back. Two character deaths which is satu is from anime, satu is from western punya culture. Satu is Fire Fist Ace from One Piece. His death was a complete change daripada budak punya journey to now is becoming an adult punya what do you call it? Luffy had to grow up mentally because of that tragedy. And the entire story after that, One Piece, asal aku, it became quite dark lah, despite it having all the trademark One Piece punya comedy and whatnot. Then the second part is, the second one yang nak mention kat sini, which was very well done and quite shocking because of the audience yang membaca buku tu, was the Harry Potter series. Book 4 tak silap aku. Cedric Diggory mati macam like Avada Kedavra gone. Macam like dia mati ke? When I was reading that book kan, sebab masa tu I start baca tengah the last few chapter tu kan, the point before dia mati, I baca dekat tengah malam tau. So baca sampai pukul 5 pagi. 6 pagi tak boleh tidur because hangin gila tau. Karakter for the first time, a character in Harry Potter mati. Macam like
betul-betul mati.
This was a children's story kan. So when it died, but character death dia was given very good it was treated with respect lah.
It was a dignified death lah.
Yes, it was a dignified death, but it was very tragic, which is something yang kita boleh tie back kat sini, where I'm sure the future Hashira punya deaths and even all the demons, the upper demon ni, they have their very own tragic backstory. So kita nantikan je lah.
Nice. Thanks for the save guys. Aku punya internet ada masalah sikit tadi. So sekarang
Tak
aku punya
apa.
hotspot atas aku punya handphone.
Bila nak
by the
ajak
way,
sembang,
Macam
kita boleh sembang
macam last
berjam-jam.
week je.
Ya man, aku rasa minggu memang ke laut lah. Aku tak boleh buat apa-apa. Semalam punya technical issue, malam ni ada technical issue. We just
Last
go
week
with
aku
it.
pakai phone, this week ni pula pakai phone. Prepare lah korang berdua.
Macam itulah. By the way Syaz, Cedric Diggory tak mati ya. Dia jadi vampire. Dan tahun ni dia akan jadi Batman.
Bodoh. Lepas tu dia jadi Batman.
Tahun ni dia akan jadi Batman.
Because
Okay?
vampire kan
Sebelum dia
undead.
jadi Batman.
Vampire undead, so boleh terima. Yes.
Sebelum dia jadi Batman, dia ada buat kerja lepak kat White House. White House lah, kat Lighthouse. Dia lepak dengan Green Goblin. Dia jadi Lighthouse
Betul.
keeper. Lepas tu dia macam sedar diri sikit. Tu macam okay lah, aku tahu aku punya matlamat hidup tu apa. Lepas tu baru dia jadi Batman.
Sebab tu dia tak
Matlamat
datang
hidup
hari
dia
tu.
untuk jadi orang
Harry Potter reunion 20th anniversary. Dia macam fuck off lah. Aku tak ada masa.
Kan. Dia tengok kan, Daniel Radcliffe, kau siapa?
Kau siapa
Tony Stark?
sekarang? Kau
Bukan.
siapa?
Kan kau bukan Tony Stark kan? Ada superhero film? Tak ada, kau tak ada. So don't talk tak ada.
Aku Batman siap.
Batman Zal.
Batman. Tu lah kan.
7-8 movie Harry Potter dia tak pernah sparkling bro. Sparkling.
Sekarang yes.
Sebelum My Hero Academia
Yeah.
buat sparkling hero, diorang dapat nama. I can't stop twinkling. Rupanya dah siap dah karakter dia.
Bodoh lah Syaz.
Betul lah kan. Alright, komen kita seterusnya adalah untuk Syaz daripada Kudo Maharizu yang bertanya. Tapi don't you think the payoff for this scene at the beginning of this episode is for masa UZUI's injuries later in the episode?
Aku dah cakap dah tadi ni.
Tu kita nak suruh buta Kudo. Ya.
Aku dah cakap dah tadi. Aku dah petik dah.
Okay,
That was the ni dah. Because dia set up for that je lah. Because unlike his other family members, dia tak mati kan cakap tadi. Dia hidup
But
tapi he
itulah.
had to pay the price.
Because the payoff kat hujung, so instead of showing kat you tunjuk dia punya
directly next kan.
this is the flashbacknya scene. Lepas tu kau tunjuk bini dia tapi tak mati. And then the payoff dekat hujung jauh sini kan. When UZUI kena. So why not put yang the UZUI punya ni? You should put right before that lah. Then you show the tragedy member dah.
It's an editing issue because the mangaka made the hand be cut off screen. So kita nak macam mana macam you know.
Actually
Itulah.
simple je. Because korang tengok ending anime episode ni is kita nampak tangan UZUI macam tu and then the episode ended. If you were reading the manga, that would not have been your reaction lah.
Okay.
Because the episode of the anime decided to end it like that.
Okay, which brings us to our next question untuk segmen ini. Hazi Kyura bertanya pada pandangan panelis, adakah Demon Slayer anime akan tambah lagi original scenes untuk beberapa scene dan characters di season seterusnya?
I don't think so. Setakat ni dia tak tambah dan it's perfect. So aku rasa it's fine. Kalau dia tambah, dan orang baca manga akan annoyed. Sebab
ni orang baca manga ni pula, silakan.
Kalau dia tambah macam dia tambah yang Rengoku punya first episode of the season tu, mungkin I would be happy just to like see more lah. I think in terms of manga it's very limited. So if they do make it meaningful lah. Don't make it like a typical typical filler episode yang macam tak carry on the plot langsung. For character establishment, character development, yes, hopefully lah.
In the early 2000s ke late 90s, there was a series called Slayers. Lina Inverse.
Aradek.
But
aku tengok kat Aradek, okay? Ni guys, Aradek punya co-founder atau founding member. Tengok because of that.
They had it became a trait of anime during that time. Dia orang kan macam ada 2-3 filler episode tau. Full entire just filler je. Macam like you are on a crazy journey and mana tiba-tiba you akan ada satu episode dia orang pergi Sun Fun Fair dekat village and then it was never referenced again. The One Piece has done it very well sebab dia orang banyak lompat antara pulau, so they can justify okay in between pulau 34 dengan pulau 42 ni kita ada visit pulau ke 38. So they just made a full movie from it. But kalau I think Demon Slayer ni kalau dia nak tambah pun kan, maybe they will not do a full filler episode. Dia mungkin akan tambah small episode like maybe reforging. I tak tahulah, mungkin kalau ada pedang lagi patah mungkin dia akan tunjuk lah, okay, this is the last and the strongest blade I'll make for you, and it's like kena reinforce ke apa ke. So mungkin there might be small scenes which add to it, but it will not give full character development lah kot. Sebab based on sembang-sembang dengan Jamal, Ariff semua ni kan yang dah baca ni, the storyline is already good enough that you don't need to add anymore.
Arjoy Izwan punya point is good. Kadang-kadang filler ni bagus tu tutup plot hole kat manga, kalau manga tu ada plot hole. So for Demon Slayer dia tak ada plot hole. Dia just benda yang dia tak tutup, yang dia tak tie off, bukan sebab dia benda tu bukan loose end. Benda tu macam benda tu kau tak payah tahu dan it's inconsequential. So there's no need to talk about it. It's one of those things that people mention in passing. Tu je.
And I think nampak tadi Kudo mention yang apparently the Kubo scene bukan tight Kubo ni Kubo scene inside the episode tu, it's a tambahan. And ni aku punya a bit cynical.
Dia flashed out sikit je.
Dia flashed out sikit just because and I am being very negative here lah. Just because dia nak milk this season lah. Just nak panjangkan cerita.
I think
it adds to the story. Yes,
definitely.
But
it's a nice beat.
Just to stretch it out, because I do feel like this episode and the previous episode was stretched out too much.
Aku rasa kalau you go back to the issues, kalau kau pergi go back to the issues, this fighting scene was a bit rushed. If you go back to the manga, the scene was too fast, meaning dia cepat. So it's not wrong, it's just cepat. So what they did is, because they added the filler scene at the very beginning, they know that they wanted to end it with Tengen UZUI punya tangan kat situ, so that it has a natural ending for the episode. So then the next anime punya episode, you take a nicer portion of the next few issues from the book, from the manga.
Betul.
So they don't really do this treatment a lot, meaning to say, kalau kau tengok tu, it's like if the decision to add the filler is not because kita nak tambah lagi satu episod, it's because aku nak end episode ni dengan ni, tapi kita kena end episode sebelum ni dengan situ, so kita ada gap 7 minit. We need yes, so we need a 3 to 5 minute punya scene to fill in the gap. So
an editing choice lah basically.
So dia dengan Lotus Petal lagi lah. I pun nak juga. Aku macam kina korang tengah bergaduh sekarang ni babi.
Okay, because
bodoh macam
ni. Because that filler scene, kalau kau tengok manga, there were no moments between UZUI. Yes, there were no lovey-dovey scenes between UZUI and his three wives. Except until that fighting has ended, Daki dengan Gyutaro dah mati, and then they were going to his side. So it's not about milking. Aku macam agak particular kalau orang macam nak milk, because you do not have the perspective of the editing choice. And if you look at it from a storytelling perspective, if they wanted to end it with UZUI punya ni, then they need to find that extra 4 to 5 minutes tau. So that is where it is. So it is a measured approach lah. Kena ada filler ke tak? Ya. Tapi alamak, kita tak cukup lah. Kita dah susun macam ni. Kita kena
patut tambah 5 minutes tu dekat Taisho Era Secret. Biarlah Taisho Era Secret tu 5 minutes, aku tak kisah.
I need more mouse.
Alright guys, jadi
tapi itulah Kudo mention tadi, the first of episode 1 of season 2 ni was a full filler episode
Yalah,
yang kan yang Ariff cakap tadi.
Goku makan.
Dia pergi kat kedai makan udon kat kedai train station tu, yang dia pergi jumpa dia sembang dengan makcik tu. Dalam filem tu tak ada. That was not in the movie. Tapi it wasn't in the movie, but I thought they did not put it in because that was a slow moment, but it was still in the manga. Memang tak ada it was not in the manga, tak ada. So the reason why that was it is because if you look at how the movie was cut after that, diorang akan ada gap about 3/4 of an anime episode to fill up. So that conversation with the makcik is to set up Rengoku punya karakter yang sentiasa baik, sentiasa husnuzon, tak fikir jahat ke orang, dan kalau boleh sentiasa nak tolong orang, dan dia punya heroic, bila-bila masa dia heroic. The moment he feels that he has to serve, duty calls, dia akan serve. So itu just leads in nicely. Tu je.
Oh, that was a very good filler then. Sebab tak rasa macam filler pun.
Exactly.
Penting untuk set up the catchphrase Rengoku, iaitu umai.
Yes. Aku rasa Nick telah hit the head of the nail di situ.
Aku
Dia
rasa
bukan
kalau dia
setakat
translate,
Nick, aku bukan dia setakat nak cakap umai. Dia beli berapa banyak bungkus dia beli kan. Banyak gila. Betul habis cerita tu. So yeah.
itulah kan. Especially kalau korang menonton ni translation dalam bahasa Thailand, it will be Aroy mak. Memang pedas.
Uish. Sedap gila.
Aku rasa dalam stream kita ni ada 2 orang je yang akan tengok Thailand punya sub. Kau dengan Ariff, sebab korang 2 Kelantan. Kita orang aku dengan Syaz tak tengok. Ini bukan komen rasis. Kita orang nak tengok apa? Kita tak faham.
Kita orang nak tengok
Tak boleh relate. Tak boleh
Kau
relate.
cuba kat EP. Kau boleh tukar-tukar kau punya language tu. Kau cuba Thailand. Aroy.
Aku nak try Tagalog.
Tagalog.
Speaking of dub, dia baru for English dub, dia orang baru announce kan. I mean, dia orang tak ada official English dub lagi kan for this season.
I'm not too sure. Aku tak
because
tahu.
I think-
Sorry.
I think I saw the news kata dia orang baru je not finalize lah, dapatkan the dub untuk di-release kan. So before this officially tak ada lagi.
Alright.
I see. So I don't doubt that they will do a good job.
No, if you take season 1 punya, they did a real good job.
Yeah,
Because of
kategori dia kata tak ada.
That's what I
dub
said.
lagi for now. Yeah, for now.
I don't doubt that they would do a good job.
Sini ada saya. Sini perasaan.
Abang-abang
Okay.
wordplay ni
Oh,
susah.
Abi ada macam ni lah perasaannya siap je.
Okay,
Alright,
faham.
kita ada 2 final questions untuk segmen ini daripada Syabil. Syabil bertanya, pada pandangan panelis, Hashira manakah yang korang nak shine next season? Pasal kita tengok 2 daripada panelis kita dah baca manga, so aku tanya yang tonton anime saja. Siapakah yang kau nak shine next season? Aku nak Pukimak yang baru graduate tu terus jadi Hashira. I want to see more that motherfucker. Yang lansi
Okay.
gila babi.
Ni
Actually,
aku akan bagi tahu.
for the
Spray.
I'm hoping for the poison Hashira lah, yang the medic ni tu, because we saw how good she was previously, but belum ada a full flesh out season. But that's my wish lah. Itu je lah, because masalahnya kalau bila kita dah tahu that a lot of Hashira akan mati, so kalau dia orang dah start spotlight kat dia orang, alamak kan mati pula kan.
Contoh kan.
Risau juga tu. I'm hoping to see how poison fights lah dengan the other demons ni.
Aku really want to remark on both Syaz dengan Nick punya choices of siapa Harsha yang diorang nak shine. Tapi aku takut dan
Simpan
aku
spoiler.
rasa sebab tu aku tak boleh. So aku simpan benda ni.
Aku punya reasoning senang je. She's the only female Hashira kot. Itu je.
No, ada 2 female Hashira.
Ada 2 ni.
Ada lagi.
Ada 2. Dia lagi seorang. Yang
love
diminati
Hashira.
oleh semua orang. The flower Hashira. Pedang dia lagi macam tu daripada Daki punya Obi.
Dah keluar
tahu
belum
macam mana.
cerita ni?
Masa meeting tu ada kan?
Dah pernah nampak dah.
Masa meeting
betul.
ada, ya.
Masa meeting ada.
Dah tak ingat.
Dia antara yang paling friendly kat Tanjiro.
Nampak sangat aku bias to one particular Hashira kan.
Kalau
Like,
you
you made
pay
a good
attention,
choice, Syaz.
Dia ingat butterfly mention
maybe
dia.
Itulah.
You made a good choice, Syaz.
Alright guys, so soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini adalah daripada Abu Mahdi yang bertanya, sekiranya last episode adalah 45 minutes, ada harapan tak kita akan nampak glimpse of the meeting para upper moon women?
Aku nak kalau last episode 45 minit aku nak meeting to best. Kau akan nampak dynamics between all the upper rank demon yang dah tinggal. Kau tengok siapa gaduh dengan siapa yang lansi, siapa yang sebenarnya power gila babi, dan siapa yang sebenarnya up and coming.
That'd be cool lah. It'd be a nice mirror
was a
to
good
the
scene.
previous season.
Yes.
Sebelum
yes.
kita jumpa Butterfly Mansion where we saw
Yes,
all the
yes.
Hashiras.
Actually, the moment in manga, that scene, if they manage to do it, korang akan nampak macam, okay lah, the demons macam ni dah sekarang. Okay lah, we're not gonna fuck around anymore. Let's put this plan in motion.
Kalau katakan ada the meeting, I'm hoping they will treat it macam ada setengah manga or anime kan. Dia orang akan tunjuk dia cakap tapi dia talking from the shadows tau, the character. So kalau ada, hopefully sebab kita the manga readers dah tahu how they look, right? But for the anime readers, that suspense will keep us going until until the next season ni. That will be interesting.
Yes.
Aku rasa kalau kau tengok dia orang in full lagi kau akan intrigue. Aku rasa.
Alright.
Sebab ada demon yang macam ni. Dia marah dia lempang. So sekali lempang muka pecah. Macam
ni lah bang nak.
Oh jangan kurang ajar kat sini. Bam. Kepala pecah.
Kepala pecah lah tu regenerate boleh kan?
Tak gelak-gelak. Dia gelak.
Alright guys. So dengan itu berakhirlah segmen pertama kita dan kita bakal membincangkan babak menarik kita yang kedua. Alright. Jadi babak menarik kita yang kedua adalah tentang Tanjiro Kamado, fusion breeding, di mana Gyutaro mengatasi wisteria lace kunais yang ditembak oleh Nadzru dan menangkapnya, yang menyebabkan Tanjiro unlocking a new level, fusion breeding. So kita ada satu quote daripada Nadzru, fusion, di mana abang VA kita Jamal akan membaca. Silakan.
Aku fikir benda sama dengan Ariff. Fusion. Okay. Ni mana ni? Fusion breathing. Tengen. Okay, yang kita suruh punya komen tu kan?
Kita suruh punya, ya.
Tengen sama. Waduh, tak. Once we've defeated the upper rank demons, let's step back from the front line and live as normal humans. I know it will not bring back the life that was taken from us as ninjas, but we have to decide at some point, or we will be ashamed to live in this country. Even if the four of us are not together at the time, there will be no hard feelings. Sure.
Yes.
Wow.
Kasi kita semua boleh lawa.
Jamal punya narration was so boring sampai Ariff menguap betul.
Babi. No. Aku jadi mangsa.
I saw that.
Ariff spoken word.
tapi betul lah bila aku dengar quote ni, it makes sense. Like kenapa tak ada orang mati lepas tu? Like kau dah cakap macam even if the four of us are not together at the time, there'll be no hard feelings.
Dia macam dia invite red flag kan. Macam death flag. Macam death flag.
Aku rasa dia subvert quote macam dia kata macam mungkin dia mangaka macam korang ingat mesti ada orang mati kan. Sekali tak ada orang mati, dia hilang tangan je. Lepas tu the very next okay kau mati.
Macam cerita polis tau. Cerita polis.
Basically you guys got blue ball.
Dah nak retire lagi minggu depan.
Biasa
mati.
Mama yang retire minggu depan.
Orang yang nak retire lah tak mati. Dalam cerita ni orang yang nak retire tak mati. Orang yang orang yang macam mana cakap Uzui punya desire dengan apa yang kita suruh cakap ni, macam kalau kita mati pun tak apa, it's just that kalau kita mati pun tak apa. Ada Hashira lain yang macam kalau aku tak mati, Muzan tak kalah. So for Muzan to lose, I must die. So you have Hashiras who are like that. You have characters, may or may not be Hashiras, akan cakap, if I don't die, I will never know if you love me or not. So memang you have characters who are much more loaded than that. So Uzui punya flamboyant ni macam, why would you want to give a death scene to a character yang flamboyant macam ni? You give a death scene to Rengoku yang macam shit, aku tengok kau satu OVA, aku suka gila babi kat kau, tapi kau dah mati. Dia macam tu. So there are other Hashiras are like Rengoku in their own way. Yang macam bila dia mati kau rasa macam fuck, pasal kau yang kena mati, kenapa bukan dia? Dia macam tu.
Tapi itulah Jamal, we are not hoping Uzui to die, we are hoping for one of the three to die, which was perfect kat sini tau. Which is like dah lah kalau right after the flashback. Kalau tak apalah kalau bukan kita semua empat sekali pun kan, at least apa yang macam whoever survive kita continue. spoken by her kan.
Tak Syaz, kalau
That was
dia
the
macam ni tau.
perfect setup.
I think yeah, it is a perfect setup, but if you think further, going back to what we were discussing about deaths earlier, yang kata-kata the deaths are meaningful even in animes kan.
Betul.
The 3 wives, if they die, the only meaning that it would give is to Tengen Uzui. Tetapi Tengen Uzui, kita punya attachment to Tengen Uzui and Tengen Uzui's relationship to the characters is not that deep or strong. Dia tak se-impressionable on Tanjiro as Rengoku. So if you put a death scene for one of his wives that we only saw a little bit of, and Tengen Uzui yang kita tak tengok deep sangat pun, then the death is wasted just because we feel that, oh kau dah bagi red flag, macam ada death je. Faham tak? So in that sense, yes, the death should be there, but if there is nobody worth dying here, why should anybody die? Kan? So you save the death lah. But you do know now that macam diorang akan every Hashira bila lawan akan ada momen yang macam aku rasa kejap lagi aku mungkin mati ni. Faham tak? So it kind of keeps you on your toes, and in all honesty, if you watch the next arc, kau mungkin akan rasa macam tu lah. So macam sial lah Demon ni. Dia macam tu macam fuck dia. So you macam aku rasa ada orang mati ni. Aku rasa ada orang mati ni. Dia akan jadi macam tu.
Nice. Jadi dalam segmen ni kita ada 3 soalan menarik, satu untuk setiap panelis. Kita akan mulakan dengan anime watcher Shaz. Apakah pendapat anda tentang the title of this episode, Once We've Defeated the Upper Rank Demons, actually referring to Hinatsuru's promise kepada Uzui instead of being about Gyutaro dan Daki terbunuh di dalam episod ini. Pada kau, is it a misleading title or an apt callback? Silakan.
Biasanya aku tak tengok pun title dia ni. So when you mention the title tu, and then when you ask the question ni kan, macam like, yelah. Because kita tahu that some series they like to put the spoiler of the show. So aku sengaja like tak mau tengok. If I can, kalau boleh tak nampak langsung tu even better lah. So I think to me, sebab kita tak ada advanced knowledge of what has happened dalam dia mencerita kan. The title tu memang it was well how do we put it? Macam Jamus suka cakap, it's well played lah. We have to hand it to them lah. Dia orang buat the title, it can go either this way or this way, and both of it is actually sama-sama betul. They did actually beat them at one point in the story, but there was they managed to turn the Daki dengan abang dia, they managed to turn it around. Because kan abang Daki kan tangan dia kena kan. Kan, so at that point dah nak menang dah, but because of brotherly love and whatnot kan, so they managed to turn it around. So it was a half bait and switch, I guess. Even if you tapi I'm glad that they put the scene yang dia orang cakap, the flashback, sebab kalau tidak it would have been even worse. Macam like, kenapa I thought they orang supposed to die, dah lah dia orang tak combine like I was hoping tu kan. Kan, so
betul.
It was subverted expectation, but it was done well lah.
Or maybe benda tu is more hope, is one of those, in when you fight or you're in a tense moment, a tense confrontation, and then you're into the final quarter where this is dragging, and you kind of have the feeling, okay, aku dah lawan lama ni, tapi I have a feeling it's going to end in a bit. You kind of know that it's reaching its end already, and at that moment you start to think back about how you came to that point and what happened before and all that shit. And for them they go like macam, when we beat, benda yang macam aku tak tahu I will live or not, I don't know if I'm going to see this through. Tapi if we do, and when we beat the guy, this is going to happen, faham tak? So in that, maybe it's that kind of a hopeful thing lah. So I don't know lah. I wouldn't have titled the episode that way, but I'm cool with it. Aku macam Syaz, aku macam tak ambil tahu pun title episode. Aku macam tengok aja.
By the way, babak memory tu is not from Hinatsuru. Although Hinatsuru was the one making the promise, it's actually daripada Tengen, as OBs are like encircling him, and then dia tengah tengok Hinatsuru kena pegang dengan. So it's nice that it's a shared memory between two characters, and it's the fact that Hinatsuru is about to die, baru dia macam, oh my god, aku teringat janji yang one of these days kita akan give up selepas mereka bunuh semua apa yang demon.
Actually,
So, like that.
if you when you pointed that out, Dick, aku rasa it would have been, that scene would have been nicer if it was from the point of view of Tengen looking at Hinatsuru. That would have been much more impactful.
Yeah, it was Tengen looking at Hinatsuru.
No, my point is
prompted this
the
memory.
flashback itself.
Yeah.
Kan dalam flashback tu kenapa Hinatsuru dengan Tengen diri sebelah-sebelah.
Oh.
By right, you shouldn't even see them standing next to each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
first person
it
view.
should be first person view of Tengen looking at Hinatsuru.
Yeah.
Then kau macam baru kau dapat macam impactful lah, because then you know, okay, so this is a serious moment for Tengen. Apatah lagi dia dah set up in the early of the episode yang macam dalam semua bini dia paling favourite Hinatsuru.
Oh, ya ke?
It looks like it. She's the
It looks
most
like it lah. I'm not saying it is. It looks
She's
like
the
it.
most wiliest. Yang lain
Sebab
semua
lagi
macam lawak.
lagi dua ekor tu dia macam minta attention, betul dia macam kenapa lah aku nak kena buat sini? So macam
Yes.
Betul notice tak yang
romantic
dia
momennya, yeah.
yang the
Kan?
three wives tu dia macam mirror a bit dengan our three stooges.
Yes.
Kalau perasan lah. Hinatsuru
That's why-
lah
that's
macam
why-
Tanjiro sikit.
that's why
so
dia-
kita
dia-
we will not debate who is Tanjiro punya equivalent among the wives. Aku tu je aku nak cakap. We will not debate who is Tanjiro's equivalent.
Siapa Inosuke?
Inosuke siapa? Inosuke siapa? Itu kita gaduh lah. Itu kita gaduh lah. Tak boleh buat apa.
Aduh, macam tu lah kan. Alright, jadi kita ke soalan kedua kita, iaitu untuk Ariff ya, Manga Reader. Apakah pendapat anda tentang Tanjiro yang mendapat a second win apabila melihat Hinatsuru di tangan Gyutaro, sehinggakan Tanjiro came up with whole new technique, water breathing mencampur dengan Hinokami Kagura fusion? Silakan.
Dia in a way dia foreshadowing certain things jugalah about Tanjiro. Considering yang dia right now he's using the original breathing. So now dia macam dia benda tu dia bercabang, now dia adalah orang yang mencantumkan balik in a way. And also ni nak point out this fact yang semua orang tak suka aku cakap, tapi I'm gonna say it anyway because it's relevant in this question. Bahawasanya all this imagery that just imagery. Semua tak suka aku cakap tu.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all-
in their head It's in their head guys. It does
Aku
not
mind
tak
blown
nampak
apabila
api,
Ariff
tak
bagi tahu
nampak.
kat aku lepas tengok OVA, aku mind blown je.
In your head. Zombie. Anyway.
All of us are
basically, inside. Macam Syah cakap tadi lah, all the fire and water punya animation tu, it's purely to showcase yang this is what he did. Kalau tak orang tak nampak sebab apa ni kita tak akan nampak the flow and everything kan. So Tanjiro ni dia punya resourcefulness, dia tahu limit dia and dia tahu macam mana dia nak compensate kan. Even in the future, I won't say what and which breathing, dia ada incorporate other style of breathing juga just to maneuver and not entirely use it, just to how to macam compensatekan certain stuff. But when you think about it kan, the breathing is mainly how you utilize your body. Macam mana aku macam aku kena certain percentage in this punching, certain percentage how I react to stuff. So macam dia boleh calculate benda tu and cuba adapt kan. Plus he started as a water breather. Water breather. So dia very flexible, very able to adapt lah on this sort of stuff. So it's in character, even though dia kata previous episode, I'm not suitable for water breathing. I think he's perfect. He's perfect for it.
So does it
Aku
mean
nak
that
tambah
he
portion.
saw by sight, as in like dia tengok orang buat breathing lain, lepas tu aku pun nak copy breathing tu, macam tu je?
Tak, I think he needs to at least know the macam fundamental. One of the future yang it's not really much of a spoiler lah. He learns, he gets an advice from this particular person on this breathing on the fundamental mechanics lah. Macam sebab kalau tengok each of the breathing dia punya style, dia punya advantage sendiri. So he wants that advantage tapi doesn't necessarily needs the full lesson.
Syaz?
Yeah. So aku rasa this is the point where the mangaka wants to tell us that Tanjiro punya ability, his real strength is the fact that he is very flexible, okay, and dia boleh mesh and incorporate different fighting styles, breathing styles ni to create his own. In fact, dia sendiri dalam kepala dia pun dah fikirkan macam like everyone tunes the fighting style to their own personal quirks so that it becomes their own. That's why daripada one singular fighting style dia akan tukar ke sini, tukar ke situ, because contohnya the original Sun punya style tu kan, some of the users probably could not handle the strain on the breathing. Tapi kalau aku just ikut dengan cara sama tapi tak as keras, boleh tak?
Yeah.
Then probably the original founder cakap, janji dia mati, ikutlah kau. Boleh apa kan?
The simplest and paling awal punya example senang je. It's Inosuke. There's no such thing, I mean, other than him lah. There's no other beast breathing.
Style.
No one.
Style
Dia punya style tu tak ada fancy tau. Tak ada nampak macam tiba-tiba binatang keluar daripada pedang lah. Yang tu salah.
Yeah.
Macam bohong kan. Macam beast
tapi
breathing gajah.
But dia punya breathing style is unique because he is so far the dual wielding punya fighter. So his fighting style was unique to himself.
Yes, kita akan this brings us to our third question actually.
Okay. Dan kita tak nak sambung situ lah.
Aku akan tanya Jamal sekarang. So soalan untuk Mangga Reader Jamal. Pada pengetahuan anda, adakah observation Tanjiro betul bahawa previous swordsmen telah combine their breathing techniques with their sword skills, altering the form that could display their greater strength, menjadi punca how the sun breathing diverge from, how eventually diverge dan menjadi water breathing lah, sound breathing lah, jadi benda lain. So silakan.
Jawapan dia yes. It's not a spoiler, even though it will be revealed later. Jawapan dia yes. And one of the earliest ways when this alterations atau transformation atau rather evolution of the breathing styles took place is when the very first sun breather, aku lupa nama dia. Siapa nama dia, Ariff? Orokuchi Jaki, something like that lah. Nanti aku dua kali tulis kat dalam tu. So when he was trying to, after this, the founder of the breathing style realized that he was talented, he realized that macam, I do not know what I want to do with my talent, and my brother hates me because I'm so talented. But I do not want this talent. So, and then but he had the talent, so what he did was he tried to teach people what he could do. So when he was teaching people, he slowly learned that not everyone can take in the lessons, satu, and at the same time, not everyone can take the same lesson the same way. So he started to adjust how he taught and what he taught according to the people he was teaching. But this came after over a period of many years lah, in which he was going away soul searching. He lost many things, and dia macam, should I be doing this? Should I use my talents to help people kill demons and whatever? So this happened over a long period of time, and within that journey is when he happened to spend time with Tanjiro's late father. Yeah, so and with regards to Tanjiro's late father, dia tak belajar direct dan dia tak diajar pun. So he just observed. Father himself has his own things to learn how to maintain and manage his own breathing.
Nice.
And then dia observe dan dia practice benda tu dan dia pun combine juga. So it's just a matter of that lah. So it is evolved naturally in that sense lah. And aku akan bagi spoiler kat sini. You guys will not see how it happens. But the spoiler is that hopefully it will keep people like Shaz and you who watch the series till the end lah. Zenitsu akan create his own form. That is how.
Wow.
That is the payoff for everyone who is a fan of Zenitsu tapi tak baca manga lagi. If you like Zenitsu for some reason, kau tunggu je sampai final arc. Kau punya payoff akan sampai. Dan bila payoff dia sampai, it comes in a very poignant way. Dia sedar diri macam Tanjiro je. Aku tahu aku tak macam ni, aku tahu aku tak macam ni, tapi aku tahu yang kau buat ni salah, dan aku tahu I am the only one who can judge you and can punish you for this, because it is my job to pay this due because you fucked up. So that is dia punya drive. Tapi dia hanya sedar benda tu dia dalam teori Stooges dia yang last person sedar dia nak buat apa. Macam Tanjiro sedar awal, Inosuke macam dia terus ikut Tanjiro. Oh, aku nak jadi macam ni. So Zenitsu macam, berapa lah aku nak training, what the fuck am I doing, I do not know what I want. And then as he sees Inosuke and Tanjiro, dia macam, oh, you know what? Somebody said something and then baru aku teringat. This is why I decided to become a Demon Slayer.
Nice.
So it's the payoff is there and the payoff is pretty cool lah. The payoff is pretty cool. Aku yang macam suka Zenitsu just suka macam tu je. Bila aku tengok anime tu macam, oh man, that's pretty awesome. Because dalam final arc nanti, Zenitsu is the only one who did what he did.
Wow. And aku harap dalam jurus breeding dia sendiri tu dia tak tidur lagi lah.
Dia bukan buat jurus breeding dia sendiri, dia buat form. So setakat ni korang
Still
nampak
lightning lah.
form. Dia still lightning, tapi kan semua macam first form, second form, third form, fourth
Yeah.
form. Dia buat form dia sendiri. So dia seorang je boleh buat benda tu.
Dia basically dia macam Gyu with the 11th form ah. Gyu seorang je yang seorang je yang ada dead calm. So
Yep,
dia seorang je yang develop that form.
Yes, correct.
And is that form sambil tidur?
Tak. This final fight dia tak tidur.
Dia dah bangun.
Final fight ni dia pergi cari apa rank demon tu. That was how badass he was.
Nice. Syaz tadi
Dia macam dia tak ada takut-takut pun. Dia macam this guy is mine.
Kita boleh compare the development of these people with their own styles. Kalau kita tengok dalam other pop culture, the one that most easily referenced is Street Fighter lah. Kita boleh tengok Ryu dengan Ken, dengan Akuma, they all have the same roots. Ansatsu Ken punya fighting style. But in the end, they diverge to their own style. Where Ryu focus more on the Hadouken side and the Shuriken punya side. Shuriken And then Ken more on the
dengan Ken punya
Ryu is more on the
Shuriken
Hadouken side. Ken is more on the actual Shuriken dengan Tatsumaki punya fighting styles.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Yup.
Alright. So I guess dengan itu kita ada beberapa komen yang menarik. 3 komen menarik. Pertama daripada Iqbal Lee yang bertanya, soalan curious. Berapa banyak season kita akan dapat in the remainder chapters yang tinggal?
Ariff, you have a good idea? Aku rasa one OVA for the second last arc, and then the final arc has to be a film, a series. Although I hope that the second last arc is a series instead, and then the final arc is a massive 2.5 hour film. That would be fucking awesome.
So guess kau adalah 2 season dan 1 OVA. That's what
aku rasa 2 season 1 OVA. So I think that would be fair.
OVA season. Okay.
It's either season OVA season. Should be like that lah. Atau season OVA.
Alright.
I would go for 3 lah kot. 3. So
just season.
Season sebab even if they did an OVA or a movie, they akan most probably give the same Mugen Train treatment lah, put it inside the season juga. Because this show is a show yang you really do not need a non-canon
OVA atau
movie.
Yes.
Sebab dia cerita ni dia it's big but it's not big in terms of lore. So dia macam you cannot give that same treatment macam Naruto, Bleach and also Boku no Hero. So if they did that, dia macam itu is milking
it. That is milking the
crashing out. Yeah.
And I think roughly around berapa more arcs? I think 3 arcs, 3 major arcs.
Two big ones, one shot. 2 big arcs, one shot.
Cool.
This is how short the series is.
Tak banyak.
It's 200 issues tau. 200 issues is.
Tapi Jamal, you read the manga while dia dah habis kan? Kira macam dah ada kan? Kira macam dah habis baru kau baca kan? Dia punya penat on the final arc. So, macam penat sial.
Faham. Aku baca pun penat sial. Aku nak cakap tu bukan ni babi lah. Bukan lah.
Every week
dia tak mati.
dia towards the end tu aku nak tahu macam oh this is a lot, ada lagi. Mata lagi.
Dia yang
Tak ada breath tak? No breath.
Itu satu lagi itu yang membuatkan kau rasa macam babi tak habis-habis lagi, breathless, sebab the final fight of course has to happen at night lah, sebab the demons only come out at night kan.
Betul.
So somewhere like 1/3 into the fight, then it is revealed that part of the strategy is nak tak nak kau kena tahan Muzan sampai sunrise.
Sampai subuh.
So the rest of the arc, the remaining 2/3 of the arc is macam lawan subuh, lawan lagi 2 jam, lawan lagi sejam. Babi penat bodoh. Penat tu. Lepas tu dah hujung subuh tu, kan. Dah nak keluar matahari tu, time tu kau tengok Muzan. Memang macam Daki lah. Dia memang susah nak mati. So degil gila babi.
And that is not really, dia bukan macam cepat habis. Dia jadi macam you put yourself in the character macam they're this close macam we're this close macam cepat and then plot twists. So to answer balik most probably 3 kan.
Yang celakanya ending tu adalah Ariff cakap tadi, ni you're so close because up to that point no Demon Slayer core generation came close to even the upper rank demons, let alone Muzan. But in this one, they everybody saw Muzan. The town, the Demon Slayers, everyone was watching Muzan, and Muzan memang just let loose. Tukar form apa semua, dia macam mampus lah korang. So
kita nampak semua lah. Kita nampak Michael Jackson, kita nampak
Michael Jackson dah tukar jadi werewolf, dah tukar jadi zombie, dah tukar jadi benda lain lah. Dah tukar jadi minuman. Taklah. So you that ending tu, everybody saw everything, and then slowly towards the final third, you started seeing Muzan weaken tau. And then betul kau dapat ada Shira jerit, lagi berapa jam nak subuh ni? Macam ada orang jerit, tahan lagi 45 minit bro. Cuma tu lawak. Saya kau baca tu macam dia lawak sekarang ni.
I'm hoping personally kan, regardless of how many episodes dia orang buat, they will do the storytelling first, so that everybody will get to see the full all the seasons, and then later on mungkin the following year they do the final fight as a full film, because memang Jepun punya anime dia orang ada precedent a few times where they will show the series with the normal TV series production level punya budget, and then kalau it still draws a lot of attention and everything, they will make a full-fledged better quality animation lah. Sometimes ada sekarang case tu macam Macross Delta tak silap aku, they retold and change the story. Oh, member ni tak mati macam ni, tapi dia mati macam ni, tapi dia still mati. So I'm like, okay lah, boleh lah, aku terima lah that small change.
Yeah man, macam tu lah.
Tolong jangan season 2 ending tergantung siapa tadi cakap Nameless. Tak boleh. Aku akan campak benda kat screen aku ni.
Alright, komen second last kita ada daripada kategori The Great yang bertanya soalan teknikal. Macam mana nak gabung water breathing dengan sun breathing? Sun breathing kena tahan nafas, water breathing bernafas dengan tenang. Siapa yang pandai minum sambil menyelam
berenang. Actually sun breathing tu dia tak tahan nafas, to be fair lah. I mean the right way is how you optimize how you breathe, regardless of the forms that you take. The form comes in the movement, and a good form kira macam contoh that one swing, dia kenalah ada certain force and everything kan. Itu yang membuat korang hilang nafas sebenarnya. Macam cuba macam you practice kicking kan. Orang yang tak biasa tendang, by the time the 10th kick kan, you practice 10 tendang kan, dah pancit. Atau orang yang dah expert 10 kali tendang pun dia relax lagi. So that is it lah basically. So digabungkan is mainly macam just different way of swinging, different way of force applying, but same movement, different kind of application, something like that lah. That is how they incorporate lah basically.
Yeah. For me the trick is not to think that you're breathing. If you remember, kalau kau ingat masa moment siapa ni Tanjiro teringat aku duk pakai sun breathing, alamak aku lupa aku bernafas, only because he had the flashback. Dia kan siapa
Yeah.
nama ni Nezuko punya tu. But
Yeah.
so basically what that implies is that bila kau guna sun breathing, it's not that you don't breathe, is that you are so focused on channeling everything that your body does, is that so that all the oxygen that you breathe, all the energy is generated to that, macam Ariff cakap tadi, to the motion. So the focus is pure. So you don't think about breathing. So macam untuk Tanjiro punya case tu, sebab dia dah jadi tense, so dia sampai dia tahan nafas lah sebab dia control benda tu, itu je. So bukan sebenarnya nak pakai sun breathing tu kau kena tahan nafas. So it's just a matter of that lah. So kalau kau ambil benda tu di mana fokus yang tinggi tapi intense, kau gabung dengan water breathing yang tenang dan even je, boleh lah. So you have to be intense tapi even at the same time. Tapi dia short bursts lah. Sebab tu kau tengok Tanjiro punya application tu short burst dia pergi, dia slash, dia tarik Hinatsu and then dia bernafas balik. Because dia macam mana kau nak sustain benda tu kan? Tu je lah.
Yeah,
Dalam real life martial arts pun kita ada hard fighting style and soft fighting style. Dia both are effective but it's more on the delivery punya style. The hard fighting style yang paling obvious and paling orang semua tahu is boxing lah. Dia tak ada macam nak tepis, tersilat punya style semua ni kan, or kung fu punya style. Whereas in kung fu they still have like, instead of like taking your blow, block macam tu, they redirect. So there is different style and techniques which kalau kita tak biasa dengan martial arts tu kita takkan tahulah. But masa kecil pun kita orang ada belajar taekwondo lah apa-apa kan. Even masa tu pun cikgu tu pun pernah ajar, okay you ikut kita punya rentak kan. Bila dia bagi command kita tumbuk. So dia saja tunjuk. Sekarang ni kita try tumbuk banyak-banyak kan. Lepas tu bila semua tak boleh buat, cakap so this is why you must know how to punch. You tak boleh just lalas bunyi je tapi tak ada apa-apa. So I think at that point of time Tanjiro ni dia realise that aku kena strike hard, but right before that hitting tu janganlah stress. So dia cakap relax. At the very last hitting pun tu dia unleash semua, which is something that a lot of people yang lawan versus orang yang pakai martial art yang lembut ni, dia ingat alah tangan gerak-gerak macam ni lembut-lembut bunga-bunga. Dia orang tak tahu tau. The actual hitting point tu masa dia
fokus
tu, dia betul-betul buntong. So yeah, it's I think it is a combination of that. The combination tu is that lah, the application of like at the point of impact baru kita really pour all the stress out.
Nice. Dia tak ada sensi Johnny Lawrence. Kalau tidak dia strike hard.
Quiet!
Alright, jadi soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini daripada Hazlam Mishran. Soalan agak general. Boleh tak setiap panelis bagi satu anime yang dikirakan sebagai masterpiece bagi korang? Adakah One Piece juga masterpiece anime? Pada aku, One Piece anime takkan habis. So, bukan masterpiece. Silakan, panelis lain.
Pada aku anime, speaking of One Piece here, I don't think it's masterpiece, tapi aku tak tengok so no comment. Tapi kalau kau nak tanya soalan adakah One Piece masterpiece manga, I think that's a valid question. For me, antara anime yang aku rasa masterpiece, aku tak boleh nak letak tu tinggi sangat. A few comes to mind, but not because they are particularly great lah. I think there's a lot of sentimentality, nostalgia pada aku, timing. Among them, aku tak ada senarai yang ni. Among them pada aku, Robotech. Yang kalau kau tegar je pun, kau takkan acknowledge Robotech, kau akan acknowledge Macross. So sebagai orang-orang budak-budak Harmony Gold, aku Robotech into Southern Cross, into Invade Invasion, which is most piada in Japan, into Sentinels lah. So itu satu. Aku rasa Full Metal Alchemist kedua-duanya. Brotherhood dan the first one is great. Anime apa lagi yang aku rasa masterpiece? Aku rasa Grave of the Fireflies is definitely on top of my list. Grave of the Fireflies on top of my list. There are a few more tapi aku rasa benda-benda tu aku kena revisit lah kot. Your Name pun is a great anime lah in terms of technical stuff.
Oh yeah, betul. One of my favorites this year is Bell. Kalau korang sempat tengok kat Power Gum lagi, you should go find it. It's fucking good. Silakan.
Aku sebenarnya tak ada give this much thought lah. Aku in general tak ada kira macam any masterpiece on anything, because aku rasa macam It's all individual kan. But kalau nak kata yang the one I really enjoyed other than the typical shonen is these two animes lah. One is Assassination Classroom. That one that's a good manga, and based on the clips I've saw in the anime, memang it's a gay anime. The last episode, shit, sial lah. And last, another one is the one yang I shared like I think 2 episodes ago dengan Shaz dengan Nick. Blood Battle Blockade. I think that's the name.
Yeah. Boleh carikan
that's
aku.
Blood Blockade Battlefront. Silap.
Yes.
Aku nak tambah satu. Aku lupa. I'm not too sure if all of you watched this. It's called When Stars Align. So this is a series that came out 3 years ago during summer, tak silap aku. It's the story of a middle school punya soft tennis team.
Wow.
So dalam satu anime, middle school, so kau tahu dia adolescents tau. Dia budak 11 tahun hingga 14 tahun. Hingga 15 tahun. Dalam satu season, 13 ke 20 episode, roughly je, aku dah tak ingat dah. In a simple soft tennis punya club punya story, kau dapat family abuse, kau dapat absent parent, kau dapat abusive ex-husband, kau dapat themes of exploring homosexuality, kau dapat typical Asian parent punya story, lepas tu kau dapat all these issues delivered to you in the story of a simple soft tennis club that is trying to stay alive because kalau diorang tak cukup member dan diorang tak masuk qualify for one particular regional tournament, club tu kena dibubarkan dan bilik diorang kena bagi kat club lain. So aku lupa, but it is a beautiful story. So kalau korang suka cerita macam Your Name, please go find this series. And because of how serious the story is, it hasn't been continued for a second season. Because a lot of people are very sensitive about it, so they do not know how to proceed. But the first season was critically acclaimed. When Stars Align.
Another tu, because right now aku macam season tengok isekai genre. I don't care how many shit you guys give about isekai. I love isekai. It's a literal macam fantasy. Aku nak keluar dari reality punya kind of show. So one is slime. When that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That is top notch. Cerita tu puas sial. Puas. Best. Best. And second is Jobless Reincarnation, which if you have been watching many isekai for the past 5 years, apparently Jobless Reincarnation is kind of like the godfather of isekai, meaning the manga was at least 10 years ago. So dia macam dia in a way pioneer the current wave of isekai lah. Cuma dia baru je starting last year kot di-adapt to anime lah. And it's a very solid anime. It's a solid anime. It's not for children, which makes it even better. Gitu. Elitist kan. Ages kan. But if you guys watch it, you guys will understand lah. Yes, Mushoku Tensei.
Nice. Jamal, kita ada soalan daripada
Shaz belum share dia punya favourite. Belum share dia punya favourite.
Dia tanya, what is the name again?
When Stars Align. When Stars Align.
Okay, cool. Shaz, silakan Shaz.
Aku sebenarnya fikir lama gila nak jawab soalan ni. Because firstly kita kena define ourselves what is the masterpiece to us. Honestly, aku akan dapat banyak haters. Aku rasa kalau aku jumpa Kudo ni kan, mesti dia cakap, Shaz kau berani Shaz kau cakap macam tu live stream. Cerita Ghibli studio ke, aku tak boleh pergi tu. I cannot. It's like, it's like cerita ni berbenda, cerita ni aku tak boleh terima. So the whole world acknowledge Ghibli punya anime punya movie semua ni, they are all masterpiece. I can see why they call it masterpiece. But to me macam like, ya ke? I tak boleh terima. So the first question you kena tanya yourself is, what do you consider to be a masterpiece? So I think I will mention a few things. dia punya how or why I would consider them as masterpiece lah. First of course is Demon Slayer ni lah. The story, the pacing, the art style, dia punya fighting style. It is kalau dia orang tak do any, as long as they keep going on with this trend, Demon Slayer is a future masterpiece. Sekarang ni sebab dia belum habis lagi, so takutlah dia buat benda bodoh kat situ kan. It might cause it might call it from masterpiece drop to just another great anime. I think it should be okay lah. It's on the way. Kedua, aku nak tunjuk benda ni. The Gundam Build Fighters punya series, for what it's supposed to do, to be a light-hearted shonen punya story about a kid punya journey to be the best gunpla builder and fighter, was excellent because you had the standard hero character, you had dia punya best friend, they all together, on their journey to become hero, and in the end, the guy, the budak yang aku tak tahu lawan, aku cuma tahu pasang je, he end up becoming one of the best fighters. So it was a good journey for the audience, which is sebenarnya cerita tu untuk budak-budak 13 ke 18, tapi kita orang umur 30-an pun tengok, weh, ada Rambaral, ada Bamani, macam like, korang ni tengok cerita budak-budak ke? No, it was that good. Because it really introduced the whole concept of gunpla building, sampai dia orang buat a lot of new lines and everything. It was, for the whole purpose of it, it was great. It really fulfilled dia punya role. Isekai wise, ada somebody mention tadi, ReZero, tak silap. So that one was another mind-blowing punya thing because they really treat to the fact that this world you can reset, you boleh, you can go back in time, macam like. So in the end, that became not just a plot point, it became the whole main point of how the hero resolved the whole story lah. What else? Gundam 00 is, out of all the serious Gundam to me, was the best storytelling lah. Because it was very tight. Dia tak ada macam like banyak sangat filler and everything. And dia punya pacing and everything was very good. Another masterpiece which I think some people might not agree, but initially to portray the culture of racing and drifting in Japanese punya culture is one of the best works lah. Sebab dia punya how they manage to really capture actual places on the hills. Bila dia orang tunjuk, dia orang pergi, inilah the actual reference point. Kat sinilah dia punya hairpin curve semua ni memang semua ada. So there's probably a few more that I miss, but I think I'll just add one more. Dia punya super robot punya genre is Gao Gaiga, because again dia macam it's a super robot punya genre, but it was well told to the point where it's like you expect this and this and this, tapi tiba-tiba at some point sebenarnya dia ada agenda sendiri, and agenda dia sebenarnya adalah align dengan kita, so they end up becoming buddies and whatnot. It was a very good modern telling of a super robot punya genre.
Actually,
so,
aku
I think
aku setuju dengan Syaz sebab when Syaz cakap dia punya preamble before dia jawab soalan tu, aku made me reflect lah. And then somebody ada mention ada comment tadi, it's true, there's so many genres. This is how great anime is. When I say great, I'm not saying that okay lah boleh pergi menang Oscar. This is for people yang macam anime pun kau nak kata great. The industry is so huge that you have berpuluh-puluh siri keluar untuk satu genre setiap season, dan setiap tahun ada 4 season. So you cannot match that level of productivity. You cannot find that level of productivity anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world, setahun negara kau keluar 1-2 TV cerita animation, filem atau series, satu negara canang. Jepun 1 bulan. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. So because of that, so much critical mass of anime, kau memang kalau kata masterpiece ni memang kau kena tengok, macam saya cakap, you kena tengok how do you define masterpiece. Sebab kalau kau tak tengok genre ni, you cannot possibly objectively say Grave of the Fireflies is better than something else. Because kau tak tengok genre tu. So it's not fair. Jadi kalau aku rasa kalau nak jawab balik soalan ni, aku akan macam spend time to say like, genre apa yang aku tengok. Then aku akan kata for that genre, these are I feel masterpieces for these XXXX reasons. Sebab aku nak cakap je tadi, NGE, aku suka gila babi NGE. Not because of how pelik the story is, now yang aku dah faham cerita dia, but because at that moment in time, it was the Gundam of its era. Bila Gundam keluar, mecha anime bertukar. When NGE keluar, it changed the mecha anime that Gundam changed. Gundam pegang mecha anime 20 tahun. Bila NGE keluar, lepas tu kau tengok Eureka 7 keluar, Van Red keluar, everything changed. Nobody drew mecha like that. Nobody decided to tell stories with diving into really disturbing moments of child or teenage trauma like that. Even though it may or may not be relevant to the damn story. Tapi yes, so dengan simbolism semua tu, tak ada anime buat macam tu. So pada aku benda tu masterpiece. Tapi aku tak boleh nak angkat benda tu sebab aku tahu storytelling dia. Macam mana aku nak kata benda tu masterpiece kalau kau tengok sampai episod 12, lepas tu kau dah tak faham apa jadi. So you know you can't really call it a masterpiece there. Macam it has to be like a, to some degree like a Naruto and an FMA. Kau tengok daripada episod 1 sampai 56 sampai 70, kau macam okay, I know what this is all about. There's so many things it covers. Itu kau boleh masuk layak dipertandingkan. Kenapa? Semua orang boleh faham cerita tu. Then it goes deeper. NGE aku tak nak letak lah, tapi I would put there for my own personal list. Because no other mecha anime made me feel that way. Like how you tengok Gundam for the first time kan, tak ada anime yang macam okay, you raise this genre to the next level. Sebab tu aku suka Robotech. It raised the genre to the next level, not in the way of Gundam or NGE, tapi one tier lower. So pada aku, kalau kita nak define masterpiece, kau cari je lah. As long as pada kau ada anime yang, oh aku selalu tengok anime macam ni, tapi anime ni dia raise one level, that is a masterpiece for you already. Cukup lah. Macam aku suka gila babi Haikyuu. Aku suka gila babi iShield 21, even though there's not an anime yet. Aku suka gila babi, aku tak tahu. Because those things raise the level. For me, Haikyuu is the slam dunk of its decade. And it did more to Japanese volleyball than slam dunk did to Japanese basketball. Of course, in terms of that, kita tak boleh compare dengan Captain Tsubasa lah. Captain Tsubasa did to Japanese football wonders lah itu. That is another thing. Adakah itu masterpiece? Confirm masterpiece bro. Sebab generations after generations of Japanese kids nak main bola sepak sebab Captain Tsubasa. Sampai masuk World Cup, sampai sekarang kau tengok Japanese football players jadi apa.
Betul tu.
That shit is legit
yo. Tsubasa penting shit.
Penting babi bro.
Yes.
Kita nak tambah since Jamal dah raise sports ni. Kalau you like, sebab Haikyuu is more based on animation style, tak silap aku reality based ni kan. Kalau you like the super dream team magic special shooting skill animationnya sportsnya anime, please go and watch Kuroko no Basket. Because yes,
habis
3 full season,
habis je Kuroko.
It's best okay. Dengan ada ending film dia orang lawan dengan
tak nak tengok K-drama.
K-drama tak ada tembak bola balik kalau kita merah. Okay.
Point ni tu celaka. Syaz, aku personally tak suka Kuroko no Basket, tapi aku tak boleh nak komen sebab apa? Aku suka iShield 21. iShield 21 to NFL manga is what Kuroko no Basket is to basketball manga. So aku tak boleh nak komen.
Tapi aku suka iShield 21 juga. So that one, you know, that's fine. K-drama tu.
And then also aku suka Kickers. So Kickers is to football anime what Kuroko no Basket is to basketball anime. Again, I cannot comment sebab aku suka Kickers.
Aku tak force kau tengok drama pukul 7 tau. Aku ajak tengok K-drama je. Okay.
K-drama tu kita reserve. One day dah ada girlfriend, ada bini. Aku dah tak bedah dah anime. Kita akan tengok K-drama. Akan ada drama. Instead of BuzzPOP bedah kan. Like K-drama bedah. Jangan delete sharp genre.
Dalam BuzzPOP hari ini.
Kami akan bedah. Adakah awak ini ataupun awak itu yang akan dating dengan main character? Macam like
Aku rasa lepas ni kan dalam BuzzPOP hari ini Syaz akan bedah K-drama. Lepas tu terus sekian, terima kasih, BuzzPOP tu dah habis. Sebab benda tu tak jadi, takkan jadi.
Tak jadi.
So episode tu nak announce dalam BuzzPOP hari ini. 15 saat je. Itu habis. Habis.
Habis. Habis. Okay, by the way,
Just for the record, Korean drama ni
yes,
best. Cuma dia macam Studio Ghibli punya anime. It's mostly not for me lah. Okay. Itu je. I no doubt. My dad tengok banyak tau. I selalu tengok. Oh, bagus cerita ni. Oh, ni ada hologram Ada hologram. And then dia fall in love with the hologram. Tapi the creator of the hologram, dia bergaduh pula dengan that girl punya main character. Lah apa cerita pula ni? Then there's another one yang selalu Nick dengan Jamal selalu cucuk aku kan. Caca lah, korang kena tengok lah. You know, for about a few weeks, aku selalu lalu my dad watching.
It was awesome. Okay, Hometown Caca was fucking awesome.
Tanya, siapa ni? Yang ni dentist, dia baru masuk ke village baru. Oh, okay. Dan tu kita patah balik kan. Oh, ada lagi ni episode. They launch a lot episode sekaligus. So the next one coming later. Now what happened? Oh, sekarang ni dia tengah dengan pakcik-pakcik tua semua, dia tengah tengok dia punya ada seremoni. Lepas tu aku tengoklah sekejap kan, tengah tunggu Maggie masak. Dia on the phone call. Microphone tak off.
That's pivotal, bro.
Episode
Episode
kan.
2.
Semua kan.
Pivotal,
Hampa
bro.
aku nyapa. Macam nyesal aku dekat sini. Lepas tu semua orang dengar.
Itu poin penting, bro. She has to regain
Kalau aku tengok
trust
K-pop,
of orang kampung.
Kalau aku tengok K-pop, Gunpla hilang, aku punya hobi magic tak pergi, anime tak tengok, habis, tak boleh.
Itu tipu. Aku tengok K-drama. Nick tengok K-drama. Aku tengok K-drama on average 2 series a week.
Kau tengok Squid Game. Bila tengok Squid Game kan, tak habis-habis, bla bla bla, Squid Game. Pakcik tua ni, oh yang tu, bla bla bla. Baru satu series ke tu. Kalau masuk, habis.
Apa, bro? One of these days kita akan bedah K-drama bersama Syaz. Nantikan.
Selain Squid Game
Tak ada. Dia
Apa
lebih
ni?
macam
All of us is dead lah, Syaz. Apa lagi ni? All of us is dead lah. All of us are dead. Sorry, all of us are dead.
Satu episod pun tak sempat tengok lagi ke tu.
Aduh.
That's aku tak berani komit. Aku tak boleh. 12 episod weh.
Sebagai
Syaz, zombie.
Untuk segmen ini, yes, aku agree. One of my favorites from last winter season was Osama Ranking of Kings. Lukisan macam sampah tapi storyline best gila babi. Every episode aku akan menangis. And then like every 3 episode ada plot twist. Lah, orang jahat ni sebenarnya baik. Lah, orang baik ni sebenarnya jahat. I fucking love it, man. It's like Ghibli campur Disney, campur Pixar.
Sangat innocent.
And then lead dia adalah mute. It's that fucking beautiful, man. Fucking beautiful.
Ni dah recommend dah aku cerita ni. Aku kena commit tengok. Okay, ni komen menyimpang jap sementara sebelum kita quickly go to the next segment. Aku kena tengok Steven's Universe lah. Sebab aku tak tengok lagi. Tetapi aku nak tengok sebab ada YouTube channel of a pianist yang aku suka. Dia macam orang kata, kau suka bedah dan review lagu kan? Kau cuba review music from this series Steven Universe. Lepas tu dia tengok series, dia dengar lagu. And then his mind was blown. Aku pula jadi suka. Aku pula macam, okay lah, so aku kena tengok Steven's Universe lah pun. Sekian, terima kasih.
Jamal, kau lain. Kau actually rasa nak tengok. Aku, sebab ramai sangat minat. Ramai sangat, apa ni, macam recommend, bla bla bla. Macam dengan gangho, even the fandom pun macam celaka sikit. Aku terus macam, I'm not gonna watch
Ariff,
this out of spite.
Ariff. No. Ariff, aku sama macam kau. The only reason why I'm watching it is because I want to contextualize the music that I like. That's all. So it's got nothing to do with that. So aku macam, Umar tu cakap dengan aku, Steven's Universe best. Okay. Macam tak boleh.
Dia agak woke lah. Animasi yang agak woke. Pasal tiga superhero dia adalah LGBTQ.
Aku tak rasa agak lah. Aku rasa dia woke gila sebenarnya.
Hero dia pun LGBTQ. So that's different lah.
Dia punya issue is not on the woke. It's just macam, macam dia terlalu famous macam I'm the hipster in me.
Ya, sebab tu aku tak tengok Game of Thrones sampai sekarang.
That is kau keluar sekarang?
Tengok muka ni. Gila, pilih bulu.
Tak apa Jamal. Aku join kau Jamal. Kita pergi minum teh. Aku pun tak tengok juga.
Okay, to be fair, aku masuk setengah of the show. So macam okay,
kau minum teh setengah jam je dengan kita orang.
Aku teh cam.
Okay guys, so kita dah menyimpang jauh
Next
ni.
topic.
Jauh gila.
BuzzPOP benda kalau tak menyimpang, okay? So kena wajib menyimpang sebenarnya.
Dengan itu kita bakal membincangkan plot menarik kita yang terakhir. Alright, jadi plot menarik kita yang terakhir adalah tentang Gyutaro dan Daki counter attack. This is my favourite overlay minggu ni, pasal macam sedih gila kau tengok dalam 3 gambar ni. Satu mamat dah kena potong tangan, satu dah kena tebuk dekat hati dia, dan lagi satu mamat ni tengah jatuh. Lepas tu cakap I'm sorry. Lepas tu episod habis. Babi betul. Dia
Jom,
bila
Nick,
dia habis aku
aku
macam, weh, dah habis ke? Ya.
Tanpa memberi spoiler, okay, Ariff check ni tanpa memberi spoiler, Nick, aku tak sabar nak tengok kau punya reaction apabila kau tahu conclusion apa yang akan jadi kat Inosuke nanti. Aku serius nak tengok kau punya reaction. Betul lah Ariff kan? Sebab bila aku baca lepas tu balik aku macam, ada budak ni. Why?
Sayang kau tapi
Sayang kau betul. Sayang kau. Serius.
Kita nanti
Sedih tapi macam kita tengok minggu depan. Aku nak tengok reaction kau.
Alright, so dalam segmen ini kita bakal bincangkan di mana Inosuke, Zenitsu dan Tanjiro berjaya tag team untuk memenggal kepala Daki. Namun at an ultimate cost kepada tangan UZUI. So kita ada
tangan
satu quote.
UZUI. I see that Nick. I give my hand to you.
Yeah.
Well played Nick, well played.
Daripada Tanjiro, kita akan dapat Ariff untuk VA. Tanjiro
Ni time dia jatuh
yes, ni time dia jatuh.
No, this wouldn't be happening if I hadn't left Uzui's side in the first place. I'm sorry everyone.
Fade to black.
Emosi.
Fade to black tu. Aku macam
Oh, sorry. Ingat komentar lagu Metallica tadi.
Bodoh.
Fade to black babi.
Aku dah agak dah.
Macam sial. Ni lawak orang tua je faham. So anyway,
Bodoh.
kita ada
Bujur lah,
3 soalan.
faham kan?
Kita ada 3 soalan untuk 3 panelis. Soalan pertama untuk Mangga Rida Ariff. Apakah pendapat anda tentang pilihan Tanjiro to refocus his efforts bersama Inosuke dan Zenitsu bagi memenggal kepala Daki at the ultimate cost of UZUI facing off Gyutaro alone and UZUI ultimately losing his tangan? Silakan.
Strategically, I think memang it's a good plan lah. Sebab kalau kau dah tengok 2 orang yang not Hashira level tengah lawan upper rank demon. At this point, we can say equivalent if not slightly lower between these two. Pun tak settle-settle lagi. You, from management standpoint, kau kena hantar someone to tolong lah kan. So when Tanjiro pergi, it was the right focus. And they managed to achieve dia punya outcome lah. They wanted to penggal kepala, they managed to penggal kepala. Ultimate cost of Uzi facing off Gyutaro and then hilang dia punya tangan tu, I think it's a given lah. And a plot point story wise macam it shows how strong this upper rank demons lah. Dia tak macam senang-senang kau nak kata oh dia ni cepat menang, cepat kalah apa semualah kan. And but yeah, you gotta hand it to Uzui lah. He stood his ground, took a while, lasted with the poison and everything. And I think Gyutaro sees that, so Gyutaro nak macam take it off his hand in this point, take off his hand, and then ringankan beban dia sikit lah, so dia boleh rehat kat tepi. Aku tunggu 1 malam nak buat ni.
Nick, Syaz, betul. Kita punya suspicion betul semalam kemarin. Kita orang datang ni Ariff ni nanti masa dia buat bedah ni mesti dia buat lawak ni.
Pasal Daki tak habis kan.
Habis
Daki,
So does it mean that sekarang Tengen Uzui is Anakin Skywalker?
Tapi dia still suka
dia tak
Sen
ganti.
Dia tak ada cakap lagi I hate Sen ke apa kan. Dia tak ada pergi find like wrapped people like, macam tak ada lah.
Kau tahu tak kenapa dia tak cakap macam tu?
Kenapa?
Sebab benda tu tak cukup kalau dia cakap macam tu dia tak flamboyant. So dia kena cakap benda yang flamboyant je.
Kalau dia cakap macam tu it's a bit forceful lah.
So as we saw with Anakin Skywalker
Aku tak
dan
nak
juga
layan.
Luke Skywalker, eventually they got mechanical arm. Is the same
Hmm.
shit gonna happen kepada Tengen, tangan UZUI? Silakan.
I mean, looking at the setting, tak lah kot.
Oh, tak ada lah.
Macam
Tak ada cyborg arm lah tiba-tiba.
over benar lah. suddenly macam steampunk kan, tiba-tiba tangan mechanical. Macam nak gerak tangan,
Baru
kena pakai
Neon-
tangan lagi satu.
Baru
Baru Neon Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, great minds bro, great
Betul,
minds.
betul,
Betul.
Alright. So that brings us to our second question kepada manga reader Jamal. Apakah pendapat anda tentang cara the Tanjiro, Inosuke and Zenitsu tag team versus Daki was animated in this episode berbanding versi asal dalam manga, sampai Inosuke kena gergaji kepala Daki tu? Was that in the manga?
Okay. I will show you the manga yang dia gaji tu. Yang kau tak budget pun, you can't tell that dia gaji pun sebenarnya. So it was very well done. I enjoyed this episode from those points of view immensely. Sebab benda tu dia maintain consistency from the previous episodes. So ada satu, I'm gonna share a panel. Ini kau nampak the UFO table gave us macam helicopter view of it. Tapi this is how the fighting scene was was depicted by UFO table lah. UFO table did a great job. Aku macam lepas ni aku boleh afford bagi dia a couple of fuck ups lah. Sebab dia buat dengan baik. Ini ke? Okay, right. Nampak? Korang nampak tak? Okay, so this is dia tengah lawan and diorang tengah lari tau. So this is just it.
Oh, tak ada motion gergaji ke apa pun.
Okay, nanti dulu. So this is when they are running towards Daki. Tapi kalau kita tengok animation tu, kau nampak diorang lari in formation. Lepas tu kau nampak Zenitsu lompat ke sana, ada zigzag. Lepas tu kau nampak Tanjiro stop deflect the blades, the OB from hitting siapa nama ni, Inosuke, sambil Inosuke lari tu kan. So dalam manga kau dapat ni je, and then this is Inosuke going past everything that people need. So benda ni is all animated. Dalam manga kau dapat ni je.
Oh. Yes, the OBs were like really badass.
Yes. So dalam ni kau tak nampak sangat. And then, okay, you get to see this, and then this is where she's commenting, this guy, he's not giving single care about defense. Okay, this is the gergaji bit. Kau nampak ni je. Lepas tu, we are Six Fang. Tapi dia tak ada cakap Six Fang ke apa benda ke. And then komen, dia pijak. And then kau tak tahu pun dia gergaji kat sini. I mean, you can tell lah if you observe. Lepas tu, putus. So like UFO table did a great job lah. With regards to animating dia punya ni. Yang pada aku, bila kau tengok, pada aku the moment that you know UFO table is right is bila kau tengok, for me is when Tanjiro lawan yang spider demon tu lah. The moment I saw that, I'm macam, wow, you guys are fucking awesome. That was just beautiful lah.
Bila tengok dia punya manga yang Jamal tunjuk ni kan, because kita orang straight from the anime tau, so kita take all the animation for granted. So this was a very well done animation lah, because kalau you tengok dia orang tu dia just tunjuk all the OB in very dia ada pattern sendiri, but kita tak tengok when they are going.
Yeah.
Kan? So this one, the level of animation versus the manga is roughly the same macam Initial D punya manga and animation. Kau tengok dia punya manga kan, honestly lah, sorry to say lah, manga dia punya buruk tau.
Betul.
Kalau kau tak suka dia punya style, memang kau cakap apa buruk manga ni kan, compare dengan One Piece which was being serialized around the same time kan. So macam like when you see the anime, like you can see the wheels turning, masa dia lompat tu semua ada, masa dia drift, habuk semua keluar, like it's good. Then when you read the manga, apa benda bergerak kat sini kan, like zoom, atau ada some thick lines, and I see that is the motion. So yeah, I think because now dah nampak comparison scene by scene kan, it's a very good animation lah. I agree dengan Jamal lah.
Yeah, and actually sound plays an important role. Aku gila ngilu tu bila dia gergaji tu pun bunyi. Aku macam babi kau tengah gergaji tengkuk orang sial. So yes, thank God for UFO table. Aku rasa I would never read the manga kot. Aku tak tahan tengok awal.
Yeah,
Sorry,
faham.
The manga punya artwork, Syaz punya point on manga artwork kau tak akan tengok tu, that's the reason why aku tak tengok Attack on Titan. Plus of course the hipster punya excuse lah. Semua orang tengok, kau nak tengok. Tetapi the point yang macam lukisan buruk tu, itu betul. Kalau kau tengok Jujutsu Kaisen, lagi satu. Kalau kau tengok The Grey Man, bersepah. Kalau kau tengok we all know, the mangaka bila dia melukis over 50, 100, 200, 300 issues, dia makin lama makin refine. But when you read Dragon Ball Z, aku pergi 80-an punya series, then you read Bleach, Notice punya series, you read Naruto, you never thought they were ugly tau. Tapi if you were to read Haikyuu punya manga, kau baca Yowamushi Pedal punya manga, Attack on Titan punya manga, I would even say to a much lesser degree, One Piece, kau macam, ya Allah, semaknya panel ni. So, many people, macam, aku rasa dalam banyak forums, maybe in the non-Japanese forums, I don't hear enough credit being given to the animation companies for doing a great job. Sebab kalau macam Yowamushi Pedal dengan Haikyuu tu, ya Allah, bersepahnya. Jujutsu Kaisen, it's fucking awesome to watch. Tapi aku cuba baca manga dia. Ya Rabbi. Dengan dia suka inking line tebal dia. So it's Hunter no comment.
Hunter is dia
It's a novel lah.
panel. This much is the text. Half the page is the text.
It's a visual novel lah.
Yeah, I kind of miss Akira Toriyama punya line work yang memang cantik, and form dia pun cantik. I feel like nowadays the deadlines are crazy to the point yang kalau kau hit every week orang nak. So
tapi
kau dengan tim kau pun letih melukis.
Tapi that being said kan, aku still feel that during macam contoh kita ambil Bleach, during the Huecomondo punya arc, during the Huecomondo punya arc, and during the arc where Ichigo nak kena selamatkan, siapa nama awek dia tu? Alah hai. Adik Byakuga. Adik angkat Byakuga tu. Okay. So those two arcs, the pacing for each issue was great. So I don't feel that it is a generational issue whereby masa zaman Toriyama dia tak stress tau. So aku rasa I personally feel sejak tahun 2000 when the internet has made everything hyper connected, people are getting feedback almost immediately, a whole lot more directly to them. Jadi the creators are getting feed by responses as they are creating, which then interferes with the creative process. Kalau kau tengok Vagabond by siapa nama Takehiko Inoue, my favorite mangaka of all time tu, period lah. Cantik sial. It's a real story. Kalau kau tengok dia punya proses, dia block out everything. So dia tak ada orang kacau. He only had to battle his own expectations. Sebab tu dia lambat. Tu je. Dia macam Joe Quesada. Dia macam aku nak buat benda gempak. Itu makan 8 bulan satu isu. Ambil kau.
But so kau tengok Slam Dunk, kau tengok Vagabond.
No, Takehiko yes. Joe Quesada after a while macam sorry bro. Aku sayang Ash, aku sayang Daredevil kau. Tapi macam sorry bro. Going back to ni, so we lose that lah. So aku tak rasa it's an issue of generation issue. Aku rasa macam there's a lot of things interfering with the mangaka's creative process. And a lot of people will make observations. Banyak manga yang aku suka lepas 60 isu, bila dia jadi famous dia jadi off sikit. Because of the attention lah. Macam The Grey Man started off really great. Lepas tu, the moment everybody started feeding back, terus lalas dia punya mangaka depression.
Wow.
Kesian lah saya.
Good example of this is Hunter lah. Dia punya proses jadi kelang kabut, and then selalu melompat-lompat sini. But oddly enough, ada some mangakas and creators ni kan, they actually feed off ni tau. They actually listen to the fans, and it actually help develop characters which they did not plan to do. Yang aku paling ingat was this story about boy genius teacher masuk a girls school, and then there's a lot of magical swords and everything. Nama story tu was Nejima. Aku tak ingat nama penuh. Ariff macam kenal je.
Macam familiar.
Dia budak pendek tapi dia genius, dia boleh buat magic and whatnot. But anyway, dia punya one of the background characters in the first chapter tak ada apa-apa, tak ada introduction, nama pun tak keluar lagi, dia punya dialog pun tak ada lagi. In the first character popularity poll, she got I think third or second highest. Higher than the main character main character. So they're like, what? So after that the story developed, so she got a bigger role. Of course dia punya power level was still harem school magic, tapi Nejima apa benda nama penuh cerita tu aku tak ingat lah. But that is memang betul lah. It's a one guy, everybody in the school suka dia kan, to some degree. Ada vampire beratus tahun, ada some techno girls yang pandai buat ini buat itu, ada RPG style inspired punya wizards, you know, dia orang belajar by books yang mana, like aku suka that show. But it was a good example lah that they sometimes the creative process is aided by the fans. Cuma bila it comes to the point, which show was it yang
I think we also saw it in My Hero Academia when the frog girl got more storylines.
Floppy was another good one lah. Dia punya popularity increase, so the storyline change to fit them more lah. I mean, dia macam the power level will not change, but they get more screen time because of that lah. Aku tak ingat which series was it yang the series ended, banyak of the guy and girl characters couple, tapi fans banyak mengamuk because of that. Kenapa dia tak couple ni dengan ni. Was it Naruto? Benda tu jadi kecoh juga tau, sebab
fandom.
a lot of people tak puas hati with the pairing.
Tak, semua tu orang kecoh, yes. By the way, sorry aku takut lupa, aku nak tambah. Ada satu lagi anime yang aku suka bagi babi, yang aku tak rasa masterpiece level, tapi macam it's fucking great. Sorry, aku baru teringat. Sebab aku dah bagi. Sakamichi no Apollon. I love music. No, Sakamichi no Apollon. I'll see you down the valley or something like that. Translation dia. It's the story about high school kids yang got together because they were playing music. Tetapi and then life happens, and then diorang kena split because of nak pergi university, nak pergi ni. And then the music band was the last thing that they were supposed to do together, but it didn't happen because so it was a very, very famous novella, manga, something like that. Lepas tu it was got adapted. And the music is absolutely brilliant.
10 Tangkubon dari 2017 hingga 2012. It's 2007 sampai 2012 ya.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice show.
Since Jamal mention an anime lagu, aku teringat one good one. Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, Your Light in April. Siapa yang suka tengok cerita yang sedih tapi touching, bolehlah tengok Aku tengok cerita tu during an era when like Gundam, Super Robot. Aku tengok cerita apa ni? Alamak. Oh no. Lepas tu bila dah, because totally went in blind, tak tahu apa sinopsis, tak tahu apa, member lain cakap, kau patut tengok cerita ni. Like, apa benda ni? Cerita light-hearted comedy. Dah habis tu kan, ini bukan light-hearted comedy lah, setan. It was a good show. So I won't spoil any further. Is if you like story development, if you like touching story, it's a good short series
Aku rasa kau boleh tengok K-drama Kau dah boleh layan dah.
Boleh, aku tahu. I know I can appreciate it. That's why aku tak nak. Sebab it's a rabbit hole that I will never climb out. Kau tahu. Aku tengok lalu caca-caca. Kenapa dia tak on microphone tu? Kenapa dia cakap dengan ni? Alah, bodoh je this girl. Then later on, now dia dah bawa balik dengan dia orang. Oh, dia bawa makan kepada orang ni, kepada orang tu. Handyman tu pula cakap, kau salah. Kau kena letak sebenarnya cara makanan tu pun ada makna. Kau kena letak macam ni. Kau Kau tak boleh
Wow.
macam bagi macam tu je. I'm like,
This is the guy yang tak tengok Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha tapi dia tahu banyak subplot. Okay.
that shows how easily I can absorb it. That's why aku tak boleh start, kau tahu. Kalau aku start, mati. I'll be talking
Kau
about
patut
nothing
start.
else but
Kau patut start dengan startup. Nanti kau akan nyanyi.
Tak mau.
dia punya theme song.
Aduh, my
Tak
God, enough lah. Aku tak suka siri tu.
tak mau.
Sebab
Okay,
nampak
okay.
sangat nak ada male lead, couple dengan female lead, lepas tu male lead tu couple dengan female lead. Aku tensionnya aku cerita tu. Dia sama
Betul,
macam
betul.
cerita tu for me is that it was last year kan? Startup was last year kan? No.
Yes, it was middle of last year. Middle of last year while we were stuck in quarantine.
Okay, because startup is last year's Itaewon class. The first 6 to
betul.
7 episodes, wow, best dia.
Memang build up best.
Elah.
Build up best. Resolution sampah. Kita nak macam mana?
Sebab
Kita nak macam mana?
sebab aku tahu lah dalam K-drama they write the series as they go along, and then macam
Yeah.
macam Syah cakap they respond to ratings.
Fandom,
So
yeah.
bukan fandom, to ratings, specifically studio dengan network. So banyak series yang the writer leave with 4 episodes left, with 5 episodes left. Sebab creative differences. Dia tak nak ubah, tak boleh ubah, it shouldn't. We develop these stories for months, tapi macam just because
Yeah.
ratings macam ni kau nak aku ubah plot ni, tapi kita tak ada set up 10 episod lepas macam mana? Dia jadi macam tu lah.
Macam tu lah.
So yeah.
Yes, the moment dia buat time jump tu dia dah jadi sampah. So everything before the time jump, startup sila tonton. Untuk fan-fan K-drama. Okay, anyway, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini adalah untuk Syaz, anime watcher. Apakah pendapat anda tentang the downer ending kepada episod ini, where all seems lost for the Demon Slayers, dengan dada Inosuke ditebuk poison sickle oleh Gyutaro, UZUI knocked out serta kehilangan tangannya, Zenitsu dilanda letupan obi oleh Daki, dan Tanjiro in free fall from all that explosion. Silakan.
Banyak kita boleh komen pasal ending ni. First kali this guy, I think he took a wrong approach. He shouldn't have taken a hands-off approach. He should have taken a hands-on approach and really direct the fighters. Sebab bila you left them to their own devices, kau tengoklah, Mama ni dah menang kan?
So masuk
Betul,
kau
terus.
pasal dia ambil approach ni sebab tu hands off lah.
Yes.
Hey!
So you see this guy kan? Because this guy tak ambil dia punya hands-on approach dengan betul, this guy hilang lah kepala dia, he lost his head lah. Bila dah menang sikit, aku dah menang. So you know, he lost all his composure semua, so he lost his head. Lalu member ni jatuh. Ha?
Aku dah agak dah ada orang cakap, aku tak nak cakap. I left it for somebody else to pick up.
Tak adalah, sebab Abang Daki tu dah buat banyak lawak kan. So kita kena buat lah lawak yang low hanging fruit pula kan.
I mean like
No lawak is low.
Okay. I mean like to just quickly chime in apa yang Syaz cakap tadi. I like how real they made it, because macam ada cakap, okay, strategically it makes sense for Tanjiro to join them, tapi dia to join the other two stooges because it just made sense at that point in time. Dia pun lagi dekat dengan diorang, and then dia tengok diorang struggle, and then it's just that he did not imagine that Tengen Uzui tak menang tangan lah masa lawan Gyutaro. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Wah, batuk lah Jamal. Dem dia. Ubat tu.
Dia punya ending dia, it's not just a downer tau. Kalau betul next week is a flashback season, we are left with one extra or at least half. Kalau next episode is a flashback punya episode, then kita lagi at least one half of an episode kita tak tahu what's going on kan.
No worry. Tajuk dia never give up. So kita tak ada tiba-tiba he nak suruh cakap never give up, lepas tu benda tu akan jadi flashback lah apa tak ada. Mamat ni nak jatuh cakap never give up. Kau tak tengok Taicho Era Secret bro. Taicho Era Secret penting kat ujung. Okay.
Ada tengok. But dia punya ending ni kan, dia bukan saja is a downer sebab they lost. But it's the fact that macam mana aku nak menang apa ni? It feels like if it's going to be
Power
resolved
of
in
love.
one episode kan, dia macam like you had a lot of episodes yang lawan from the build up solo, lepas tu sana lawan group lain, and then they merge fighting, and then they reach the crescendo point kan, tiba-tiba mamat ni dah kena step, mamat tu dah hilang tangan, mamat ni tengah jatuh, yang mamat tidur tu tak tahu mana pergi. So then it's like, how do they recover from this?
Tanjiro out of the explosion to save Tanjiro, but he himself kena explosion tu. Zenitsu.
Kan? So you imagine lah, there is no Dragon Ball Z level Super Saiyan punya power levels that akan come out from nowhere. I can imagine mungkin the two other wives come in lah, but their fighting style is not strong enough to face Daki pun kena kalah dengan abang dia ni lagi lah. So
looking at the spider battle, kalau kau ingat, tiba-tiba dua Hashira datang menolong. So
then there is a bit of a weak story writing because you're stealing away UZUI punya moment to be the hero, or at least the supporting hero, and then you come out from nowhere.
UZUI dah lepas tangan dah bro. Dia dah lepas tangan.
And y'all said I was bad.
Satu episod tak sama dengan satu season bedah penyimpanan.
Kena lah Hashira lain kena bagi kerjasama bro.
Yep. Dia kalau kita compare dari segi manga punya perspektif sebab manga you know there's going to be a long time. Kita tak tahu berapa episod lagi. So you kata like, oh no, they might have lost this round. They might have to fight in another arc
Season.
in the future. But sebab kita dalam anime format, we know there's 2 more episodes. So it's not just a downer episode, but also the fact that we know it's going to be resolved in paling teruk pun 2 more episodes. So the remaining fight is not going to be as satisfying as the early part of several episodes. You macam kau build up gila. Lepas tu orang tu kalah on technicality. Dia tergelincir ataupun ankle dia terselio ke apa ke, habis. Then 1.5 hour 20-30 minit kau tengok boxing tu, like rugi macam tu je. The finale I feel is going to be not as good as the build up somehow lah.
Manga readers, apa pendapat korang?
Subjective.
Fair assessment.
Yeah, fair assessment. Tapi it's still subjective, so we'll see how Shaz reacts when the ending come. Kita nantikan.
Nak menangis tu orang. Wow, it was the best shit ever. Aku salah 2 minggu lepas.
Kalau benda tu berlaku, aku tak terkejut sebab dah banyak berlaku dekat Shaz. Okay, I attack you, itu creature cukup-cukup 2 damage, aku bounce. So Shaz adalah dia akan sentiasa ada momen-momen yang dia kena deny at the end.
Itulah kan. Tapi I think it's very important lah, macam Nick kata kan. Hashira 2 datang tu, I hope they don't come and give him a hand lah. That will be very bad story writing.
Aku cakap pasal ada presiden.
I mean like benda yang okay, that being said, aku nak sambung apa yang Nick cakap tadi. If they do come to give him a hand, I think it's a fair thing to do. Korang tak tengok manga lagi because he does need a hand from the looks of things.
Tak, tapi kalau fikir secara logik the entertainment district has been destroyed for the past few hours. Takkan tak ada messenger pergi balik ke Butterfly Mansion ke, balik ke the Lord of the Demon Slayer.
Has it been a few hours?
It was not. This is not over the few hours. This fight was over like macam 45 minit je.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it was quite far away from the next bigger town.
Okay.
Arjoy, boleh Taco Bell lah. Okay.
Unfortunately, Shaz tak suka bet macam Wan setiap episod dia nak Teori Brazil.
Arjoy, kita orang weekend ni akan pergi makan dekat somewhere. Nanti kita bagi tahu kat mana. So nanti bila nampak kita makan, tegur je. Abang ni BuzzPOP kan? Lepas tu belanja kita makan.
Minta orang tanyakan.
Aduh, itulah. Okay, kita ada satu soalan teknikal. Do you think anybody would have used a burung gagak untuk hantar balik. Cakap, entertainment industry dah hancur.
Dia
The question is, this is a good question. Aku punya soalan, my counter question is, siapakah that somebody? Because the burung gagak is not controlled by the Hashiras.
Maybe
So
tikus,
that's legitimate. That question is legitimate. My question is, siapa yang nak guna burung gagak di dalam entertainment district? Which then leads to another question. Ada tak kat dalam tahun-tahun, ada tak agent, sleeper agent, Wisteria yang memang ada pegang burung gagak satu just in case? I don't know.
And also if dapat send burung gagak pun, laju ke enough time tak untuk dapat and datang balik? Sebab you have to remember yang at least for Hashira, dia kawal, dia bukan centralized tau. Dia each region in Japan, diorang pegang. Diorang abang kawasan
besar.
Yes. So nak come to the rescue tu not that quick lah.
Harapan aku is still gonna be the muscle mouse. Muscle mouse akan menyelamatkan keadaan. Kau lupa tu.
Mouse
Syaz.
cheese breathing.
Aku punya reaksi
punya
ayat pertama was kat mana muscle mouse? Okay, mana muscle mouse?
Next episode bro, dia akan menyelamatkan keadaan. Tak nak bet.
Dia kap dia yang dia pedang.
Alright guys, so kita ada 5 komen yang menarik.
Wow.
Kita akan mulakan Syabil Syakir yang bertanya, Hinokami Kagura, adakah itu dikirakan sebagai forms atau breeding?
Forms. I mean form. Alah dia breathing ni sebenarnya
breeding?
Dia macam mana breathing ni is a macam mana kata a collective lah. So contoh kalau Hinokami Kagura, dia punya collective form dia is sun breathing lah. Kalau macam water breathing, dia punya forms dia adalah this 10 or 11 thing. So this 11 forms is water breathing style. So dia synonymous in a way, but
so Hinokami Kagura is a form of sun breathing.
It's a form. It's a form. It is not like macam chakra, water chakra apa semua, tak ada ni. Kau buat 10 ni, it's then you are considered using sun breathing lah.
Is it macam martial arts kita, taekwondo, kungfu, karate, semua pun ada tendang, tapi there will be some tendang which is unique to theirs.
Something like that. Yep. The kira macam kalau taekwondo like what, tegok 1, tegok 2. It's like this movement apa semua, this set of movement is tegok 1. This set of movement tegok 2. So that's kind of it lah. So it's not macam kalau Naruto dia ada that 5 different elements of chakra kan, with a different kind of jutsu, and it's not like that lah.
Okay, thank you. Semoga terjawab soalan Syabil Syakir. Soalan seterusnya adalah daripada Dan The Gamers yang bertanya, okay, ada soalan untuk panelis. Seperti yang korang tahu, Demon Slayer Season 2 ada 11 je episod. Kalau kau buang Mugen Train, apakah pandangan panelis terhadap kesikipan episod season ini, dan panelis rasa bila season 3 akan ada? Boleh kita tanya manga readers? I mean, it's because it was a short arc, right? That's why ada 11 episod je.
Yeah, I think
it's a medium
so far,
arc lah.
Yeah, it's a medium arc. I agree with Ariff. Aku rasa it's fine. I do not judge it based on the number of episodes. I judge it based on dalam 11 episod tu apa yang dia buat. So kebetulan kita dah ada manga, so we refer back to the manga. It does whatever the manga did and then fleshed out and filled out whenever necessary. But more importantly, it replicates the manga faithfully and very well in anime in video format. Dah cukup. So tak ada benda yang tertinggal. So okay lah, aku tak ada issue. Kalau dia buat dalam 7 episod, kita kena tengok sama dia rush atau tidak lah. Tetapi we know that UFO Table never rushes their episodes and they always end them nicely. So it ends at the nice cutting off point. Jadi 11 tu aku tak pay attention lah. So it's for this, I think we don't have to evaluate the series like that.
I think for me kalau nak criticize pun is the approach of putting the Mugen Train inside lah. Kalau you tak tengok the Mugen Train punya movie and just solely on the season, I think it will be a more complete and whole season. For me, it feels, for me lah personally, sebab dah tengok Mugen Train kan, so I tak bother nak tengok the seven episodes of the Mugen Train punya arc. It has made me rasa macam this tak puas lah sebenarnya this season. Dia tak sepuas season 1.
Tapi kau komplain 2 episod slow. Tu dah stretch
dia,
dah tu.
dia slow as a relative of a manga reader. Short in relative of a whole season anime watcher.
Okay. So do you think we have to wait 2 more years before season 3 yang hopefully akan jadi 2
I think setahun je. My guess is 1 year because they would have decided on that when they were doing this already.
Okay.
The story has ended. They can pick and choose. So they do not have to wait for anything. Pada aku lah. Tapi itu aku optimis sebab aku personally I am eager to watch to know what you and Shaz would think about the next arcs sampai habis cerita ni. So that's why aku macam nak benda tu setahun je gap.
Okay.
Yeah. Season 2 ni aku just nak confirm balik. Yang the entertainment district memang 11 episod ke? I thought it was longer than
Yes,
that.
in total it's 18 episodes where the first 7 of season 2 is Mugen Train, therefore leaving the remainder 11 to be entertainment district arc.
Oh.
There's only 18
So
episodes in season 2.
Oh, okay, that's because I'm more used to the
25
The season
24.
13-26.
short one will be 13. Then you have a 24 to 26.
Yeah.
Then you have a 48 or 52 punya format. So having an 18 episode ni macam a bit funny.
Tak, dia dah
But I
break dah
think-
benda tu. They broke it about 5 years ago. Dia orang dah tak ikut format tu dah. Unless because
I think that aku personally I'm more used to those. So when 18 tu macam like it feels a bit off lah because dia antara a short 13 and a long 26.
Yeah,
And
but
it's two
I
separate
prefer
arcs.
this. I prefer this compared to 2 rando filler episodes macam My Hero Academia season 5 where tiba-tiba je kita ada waifu beach party yang tak ada kaitan langsung. Tak ada kaitan langsung with the fucking
Maybe
plot.
what could have been done is that instead of putting the Mugen Train, they could have made it just a full 13 or 12 episode punya one sahaja. Then you
That's
tak
good.
rasa macam like, oh benda ni patutnya should have been longer. Tapi macam fall short. So when you expect it, dah, oh ini memang is a short punya core. So they just tunjuk satu tu je lah. Because Mugen Train itself pun dah ada movie dah.
I have a feeling that benda tu it's network dependent. So bila dia beli airtime, macam we were talking about Harmonical last night kan, kan aku cakap the reason why when Harmonical brought Macross over to the US and they had to do Zentradi attack and then they had to do Southern Cross is because the airtime that they got was 56 episodes ke 75 episodes. So Zentradi attack was 40 plus episodes and then Southern Cross was 30 plus episodes to fulfill that requirement. Kalau tidak dia hilang the entire thing. So it could be something similar here where the studio yang dapat ni dia kata okay we need for your slot kita memang perlukan contoh an 18 episode punya ni because dia nak fill up this part of the schedule during these 18 weeks. So kau kena stretch benda tu and then that's when they decided tak apalah kita ambil je lah Mugen Train letak satu filler episode about Rengoku and then not satu filler about 3/4 of a filler episode and then we put everything just nicely within 18 episodes. It
So
could
that
be
means
that.
this was not it could have been a station punya this one and
Could be a
not an
station,
artistic
yeah.
choice lah.
Not artistic choice. So
That makes sense lah. It makes more sense lah.
so if that was the case, aku rasa the application was great lah. Sebab pacing bila kau compare manga dengan anime tak lari. The pacing was like solid.
Alright, jadi kita punya second last comment adalah daripada Kamarul Arifin yang bertanya, ada tak Swordsmith punya scene yang banyak sikit dalam Demon Slayer ni? I want to see more. Macam best je. Silakan
Your
Last
wish
two
will be
arcs.
fulfilled.
Your wish will be fulfilled, yes.
Not last 2 arcs, the next arc.
Oh ya,
Swordsmith.
kan?
Yeah, Swordsmith, yeah.
The next arc. The next arc.
next
Itu
arc.
satu. Itu satu.
Ini
That
dua.
is the babi. That is yeah the arc Swordsmith punya scene. Dah lah ada satu Swordsmith tu tegar gila babi. Orang duk lawan keliling dia macam aku akan asah pedang ni. So that will be the guy that will one up the rat, the tikus-tikus muscular punya scene.
Wow.
Dia akan one up the
For real,
tikus.
for tikus forever.
Yeah.
Nice, man. So nantikan season 3 ya, Kamarul, nantikan season 3. Alright, soalan terakhir untuk segmen ini adalah daripada Hazi yang bertanya, panelis tak nak bedah ke Jujutsu Kaisen dan Chainsaw Man? Kita kena tunggu season dia keluar dulu bro, baru kita boleh bedah. So, Jujutsu Kaisen kita akan cover movie 0 dan maybe season 2 once it hits Malaysia. Chainsaw Man pun bila dia keluar dekat Jepun, tak keluar kan? Bila dia keluar nanti
Tak
kita
boleh
akan
bagi.
cuba cover. So, it's all about
Question, siapa sini dah baca Chainsaw Man?
Aku skip, sorry. Aku
Tak, okay.
I love the art sebab it reminds me about American comics, but it has better paneling punya ni. Tapi I guess it's just not my thing. So I'm happy to be changed, to change my mind. I'm happy to change my mind. Not yet lah.
So
It'll be
nantikan
in
bila dia
interesting series lah.
Yeah.
Apa dia?
Will it be, is
Interesting
it
kan?
gonna be fall season ataupun summer?
I tak sure on that, but I think it's gonna come in another couple of months rasanya. Within 3 months ke? Kalau tak silap lah.
I won't be surprised if Chainsaw Man is another DS for me lah. Aku tengok anime lu betul aku baca manga.
Okay, so sama-sama kita nantikan. Hopefully, and also it's about scheduling ya. Macam sekarang ni BuzzPOP dah cover 4 siri setiap minggu. Kita hanya cuba kerja selama 4 hari seminggu. So, kita tengok macam mana lah. Kalau masa Chainsaw Man atau Jujutsu Kaisen dia keluar tapi dah ada banyak sangat show MCU lah, DCEU lah, dengan K-drama lah. So, kita tengoklah. Maybe K-drama lebih daripada Chainsaw Man. Kita tengok macam mana.
Bro, Jujutsu Kaisen bro, come on. Bro, come on.
Tengok,
Come on bro.
It depends on when it comes out. Yeah,
That dude is the coolest dude
only
ever, man.
4 days a week.
Pakai jari bro.
Alright girls. Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah 3 plot menarik daripada episod Demon Slayer minggu lepas. Sekarang kami bakal menceritakan tentang harapan kami bagi episod hujung minggu ini. Alright. Jadi menurut babak Taisho Era Secret yang korang tak tengok langsung, judul episod minggu depan
Aku
adalah
tengok
judul episod minggu depan adalah Never Give Up. Tak ada spoilers. So, apakah harapan anda untuk episod ini nanti? Silakan, Syaz.
Well, I'm hoping to see why they put that title lah, because it sounds like it's going to be dia punya apa ni, what drives the characters. So itulah, I'm hoping to see the actual reason and it's not just another
flashback.
episod ni diorang mati guys, episod ni diorang mati, lepas tu tengok tak mati, lepas tu ada downer ending. So I'm hoping they deliver based on the title and they will give out dia punya ni lah, dia punya motivation semua ni lah.
Okay. Jamal, sebagai seorang manga reader, apa yang kau harapkan?
Aku nak tengok, aku harap korang dua akan suka apa yang jadi lepas ni. Itu je.
Cool. Dan Ariff?
I think mine would be the same as last week. So basically tak sabar nak tengok the flashback happening on the Daki dengan GYUTARO. So macam nak steady, nak apa ni, anticipate the waterworks ah.
Yeah,
Do you think it's going to be
next week is
episode
the last episode.
17 or episode 18? Because kita ada 2 episode.
Aku rasa it's the ending of 17 going into the first 10 minutes of 18. That's my feeling.
Oh, okay.
Because the lepas tu tak panjang sangat. So the last 10-15 minutes of episode 18 boleh cover dah lepas.
Alright. So Syaz, Kudo ada cakap ya, get ready to be blown next week. Sorry, blown away next week. Alright.
You miss a critical word there, bro.
Alright guys, so aku rasa dengan itu berakhirlah sesi kita malam ini. Agak bumper ya. Soalnya kita 1 jam 30 minit je, tapi malam ini sampai 2 jam setengah. Terima kasih kerana banyak komen. Aku rasa banyak penonton baru. We have about 25, averaging about 25 to 30 viewers malam ni. So terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, Syaz kaki anime, Ariff kaki manga, dan juga Jamal Raslan kaki buku. Terima kasih juga kepada korang kerana menonton. Silalah support kami dan join the last 2 episodes of Demon Slayer in the next 2 weeks. Esok kita bakal membincangkan The Book of Boba Fett episod 6. Aku dengar semua orang kata best gila. Aku tak tengok lagi. No spoilers, motherfuckers. No spoilers, please. No spoilers. And then hari Jumaat nanti join us untuk All of Us Are Dead season 1 K-drama.
Aku nak komen satu je pasal Book of Boba Fett. Ada komen kat Reddit complain Ada orang kat Reddit, alah apa pasal dia buat macam ni? Tak perlu pun.
Biasa lah bro. Dia nak
Sebab tu kau tak kerja dekat dalam apa ni production company.
Tak, itu tak apa. Itu tak apa.
Yes,
Sebab itu kau tak dijemput ke sesi bedah bersama-sama dengan Nick. Faham?
Oh tak. Dia Reddit dekat US, tapi I get you. Your sentiment I share. Aku
Alright,
macam suka anti Filoni dengan Favreau lah babi. Macam tu. That was how I felt bila I read the comment. Geram aku.
Okay guys, itu saja untuk malam ini. Terima kasih kerana menonton. Majulah fandom untuk negara. Bye.